in our third consecutive bowl game.
No one stopped the game's sixth all-time leading rusher. LT's led the nation the last 2 years. Tonight he has one more obstacle to run over. Supreme test. Southern Miss's defense fears no one, is found frequently among the nation's top 10. They're tough to score on, but tonight they have to stop LT.
Make sure you see what you see before you commit on a play or anything, because he's a great running back. He'll find the holes. He's very instinctive. You can't really get a good shot on him. He's very elusive.
The first guy never brings him down. He keeps his legs pumping, so we're gonna have to gang tackle him.
They're a cocky team. So, I'm going to come out and try to hit him in the mouth.
The Christmas spirit in the South. We welcome you to the second ever GMAC Mobile, Alabama Bowl. The fans are keeping warm. The fire's not just for tailgating on this evening here in Mobile. They're here to see a record-setting performer, LaDainian Tomlinson, end his career, while Gary Patterson starts his career. First time in his life at any level that he is a head coach. We welcome you to the start of the bowl season. Hi, everyone. Mike Tirico. 25 bowls will be played. 20 of them will be seen on ABC, ESPN, and right here on ESPN2. And a great story for the first one, TCU. Just 3 years ago, 1-10. This year, 10-1. The major reason for the turnaround, Dennis Franchione, who's now the head coach at Alabama. He was going to be head coach or co-coach with Patterson, his defensive coordinator, for tonight's game. But 6 days ago, Franchione and the athletic director at TCU decided it's time Patterson takes this program over, so his new era will begin here tonight. I'm joined, as always, by Lee Corso and Kirk Herbstreit. Now, first night as a head coach, got to be nervous, but a great feeling of comfort comes when you know that one of the best running backs in this decade lines up for TCU, LaDainian Tomlinson.
Well, Mike, there's no doubt over the last 2 years, LT's been one of the finest backs in college football. He has all the qualities you want out of a great running back. He has the vision to be able to find the holes and find those cutback lanes, the speed to run away from people, the power to break tackles, and maybe the best attribute is he holds on to the football. He only fumbled one time or lost one fumble in 369 carries this year, and his numbers are phenomenal. You can see over 2,000 yards, led the nation, 196 yards per game, and over 5,263 yards, which is sixth best in the history of college football. I talked to him this morning. He said it's real important to him to go out as a winner, and it's going to be tough because this defense tonight that he's facing, Southern Miss, they're very good, and they're anxious to go up against him.
Kirk, you and I talked about this earlier. I tell you what, this is the best defense that TCU has seen in a long, long time. Southern Mississippi is very good for a couple of reasons. Number one, their experience. They have 7 seniors starting for them. And number two, they got some talented players around their team. They're number 2 in total defense in this country. Their leader, 96, Cedric Scott. Cedric is the co-defensive player of the year for the Conference USA. He runs the 40 and 4.6, 275 pounds. Dr. Jerry Punch, Southern Mississippi's offense has struggled this year. They better get on track if they're going to try to beat this TCU football team.
You're exactly right, Coach. You know, offense has been a cause for concern for the Golden Eagles, but not early in the year when they won 6 of their first 7, late in the year when they lost 3 of their last 4 contests, primarily because of injuries mounting in the offensive line and at the wide receiver position. And that may explain why their all-star quarterback, Jeff Kelly, was sacked 60 times, or about once every 6 times he went back to throw the football. Now, Kelly knows the Golden Eagle offense is as healthy as it's been early in the year when they came here to Alabama and shut out the Crimson Tide 21-0. They'll need an effort like that for to have any kind of shot tonight against the #1 ranked defense in the nation. Michael?
Good matchups, Jerry. #1 and #2 defense in the nation. #1 rusher in the country. Can that second-ranked D shut down TCU's #5 at the GMAC Mobile, Alabama Bowl?
Very instinctive. You can't really get a good shot on him. He's very elusive.
The first guy never brings him down. He keeps his legs pumping, so we're going to have to gang tackle him.
They're a cocky team. You know, so, man, you know, I'm going to come out and try to hit him in the mouth.
Field 2's exclusive presentation of the 2000 GMAC Mobile Bowl is brought to you by Intel. Get the power of 3, the Intel Pentium 3 processor. And by Castaway, directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Tom Hanks. Friday, only in theaters.
You saw TCU take the field, kick off a minute away in Mobile. In the meantime, welcome to the studio. Chris Fowler, Rod Gilmore, and Bill Curry joining us for the next couple of nights. Guys, a growing list of players as bowl season begins who have to sit out bowl games because they didn't perform academically or otherwise ran afoul of the rules. In the case of Florida State, Snoop Minnis, he did not perform academically this semester. The senior's career is over with Florida State. He will sit out the FedEx Orange Bowl BCS championship game against Oklahoma. Now, Minnis caught 11 touchdowns, 63 passes, more than 1,300 yards. He was a Biletnikoff finalist. How big a blow for the Noles offense?
I think it's a big blow. I really do believe it's an impact. You just don't take a guy out who had 22 more catches than any other wide receiver, averaging 21 yards a catch. He's a big play guy. When you take him out, that hurts. But if there's any quarterback who can deal with this kind of a problem, it's Chris Winkie. He had the same problem last year when he lost Warwick, Coach.
I'm going to focus on one thing about this that is positive. Every youngster, and more importantly, every player on the FSU team now realizes everybody has to go to class and do what you're supposed to in school if you want to play in these big games. That's the lesson here that everybody needs to remember.
Yeah, what a shame for Minnis. They'll miss his playmaking, but they still have plenty of depth. But the growing list of bowl casualties grows. Back to Mike Tirico for kickoff in Mobile. Mike?
All right, Chris, thank you. The fans from Hattiesburg have driven 97 miles for this game. TCU in place as well. Jerry Punch is with one of the most interested people on the sideline. Doc?
Well, after 19 successful years as assistant coach, Gary Patterson, your head coaching debut is about 60 seconds away. Share with us your thoughts.
Well, it's exciting. You know, right now it's just one day at a time, 1 minute at a time. Let's go beat Southern Mississippi. But, you know, it's going to be a fun time. It's a great group of kids and a great coaching staff, and I'm ready to go.
How different will your role be tonight than it's been all year as a defensive coordinator?
Oh, it won't be much difference, you know, besides going on fourth down or fake punch and all those kind of things. But I got a great group to work around. The shoot, they just make up for my mistakes. So I just try not to screw it up.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Mike Tirico, the Gary Patterson era is about to begin at TCU.
Very likable 40-year-old gentleman on one side. On the other side, it's Jeff Bauer, who, like Patterson, made his coaching debut in a bowl game 10 years ago when he took over Southern Miss program from Curly Holman. 66 victories here at Southern Miss. This is the final night of fall, but it is an unseasonably cold night, even for the middle of winter in Mobile. Our temperature is hovering around the freezing mark. It is dry, though, as Chris Kalaki, the senior from Austin, gets set to kick it off for TCU. 10 wins on the season. Southern Miss 7-4. All the way to the championship game. The bowl season begins with the GMAC Mobile, Alabama Bowl. Raymond Walls with the return for Southern Miss. Across the 15. He's pulled out at the 16. Tackle made by Jared Smitherman for TCU. All right, let's check those starting lineups. Southern Miss's quarterback is Jeff Kelly. His second year as a starter. He's earned his degree in just 3 years. But as Jerry mentioned, sacked 60 times. Back behind him, senior Kelby Nance will get the start. You'll see a lot of Dwayne Woods. Danny Fowler is one of the 3 receivers. They get Leroy Handy back at some point tonight. That's a big deal. He's not starting, but he's a 40-catch man. Mills is the best pass catcher on this team with 55 on the season. A first down pass out of the gun for Kelly. It is complete to the 24-yard line. Pass was caught by Handy, so he came out in the starting lineup. A late change for Southern Miss. Let's check them out offensively up front. They've had so many injuries up here. Billy Clay, the center, has played 3 different positions in a game at some point this year. Goes up against an unbelievable defense, #1 in the nation.
Aaron Schobel is the all-time leader at TCU in sacks in career and also one of the great All-Americans in this country.
After a pickup of 7, it's 2nd and 3 for Jeff Kelly. And movement on that right side brings a flag here to start the game. Orlando Dantzler, the tight end, was being pointed to. as you have in most bowl games, neutral crew. This one from the Big Ten. And they have whistled play right away. So the false start on Dantzler will push him back 5 yards. Patterson, the defensive coordinator, does the signaling from the sideline. The defense for TCU, which is that top-ranked unit, does not huddle. And that's the man to keep your eye on, senior from Columbus, Texas, Aaron Schobel. Making an adjustment to the game clock, I believe. After the flag came down, the clock ran a little bit farther down. We mentioned this Southern Miss team is 7-4. They opened 6-1, lost 3 of their last 4, and that man was besieged because of injuries up front.
Well, he had to run for his life most of the season. Interesting here, these first few snaps are coming out in some shotgun. The coach has made it very clear that 1st and 10 for Southern Miss tonight is crucial because they cannot afford to get into 2nd long and 3rd long. First play of the game, they pick up some valuable yards and they go back 5. So this is not where they want to be in 2nd long.
Especially in a situation where they can, this number 14, Aaron Schobel, is as good a defensive player as I've seen in the tapes this year. I'm interested in fact in see 6'4", 260, the way he comes off that corner, Kurt.
He's got great speed from the outside, and they're going to probably, that's the thing, they may have to double team him at times, yes, especially in obvious passing downs.
We're getting the clock adjusted properly, and time was reset. It was reset by 1 second on your screen, but it was 11 seconds in the stadium, back to 14-13. You see their problems. They turned it over much more in the last 4 games. 13 of this team's 21 turnovers came in that 1-3 finish. So after the 5-yard flag, it's 2nd and 8 for Southern Miss. And Jeff Kelly throws. Caught by Sean Mills. His leading receivers out by the 28-yard line, right at the 1st and 10 line. Let's give you the rest of the TCU defense. 2 linebackers, top 2 tacklers on the team. Chad Baer, number 1. Shannon Brazil, number 2. It's an interesting defensive setup, Kurt.
Well, it's a 4-2-5. They have 5 defensive backs. The guy to keep an eye on is number 18, Curtis Fuller. He's really the quarterback of the defense. He is responsible for making the audibles. The defense will audible as at the line of scrimmage to make sure they're in the proper defense every snap.
Option on 3rd and 1, and Dwayne Woods came into the game and lost his footing. And they can't pick up a yard with a quick option, so it will be a punt for Southern Miss. The TCU defense gets Southern Miss off the field right away, and Mark Hallman, sophomore from Vicksburg, Mississippi, who had a couple blocked this year, comes in. Both teams are very solid in special teams. LeVar Veal is back deep to receive. Took one back 85 yards earlier this year. Hallman's kick is a nice one. Veal will take it at the 30. Had a nice block and room to run, LeVar Veal. The punter brings him down at the 41-yard line. 29 yards the return. So the senior from San Antonio has put TCU in great field position. And tonight during our broadcast, we have cable cam with us, suspended above the sidelines. We'll move with Veal on this return.
Interesting there that Mark Hallman, the kicker, makes a nice open field tackle. Could you believe it?
He did.
He did. That was a pretty good hit for a kicker.
If you want to call it a tackle.
Oh, I mean, well, he got him down. He got him down.
He got him down.
He wrapped up something we don't see in the NFL that well. Best opening drive field position of the season for TCU and quarterback Casey Printers. Drew a flag, and throwing right away is Printers. B.J. Roberts had a knee down when he made the catch. We'll check the flag. Obviously Southern Miss at the top of their defensive line. The left side looked to be offside. So Printers and company will probably be in a 1st and 5 situation. Yes, they will be. Well, Casey Printers, sophomore quarterback from DeSoto, Texas. His record in 2 years as a starter, 18-3. And obviously he has the man who was 4th in the Heisman balloting behind him. Also George Lane, a good fullback. And as for their receivers, Tim Maiden, the top pass catcher, and he caught 19 this year. Tells you what TCU does for a living. They feed it to 5. They might try to loosen up Southern Miss with more passes in the early going. Option with Tomlinson. Canadian Tomlinson pushed out of bounds, but after a first down, nudged out at the 25-yard line. I'll give him 11 yards there. Check the rest of the offensive front. See this starting 5? They started every game last year, every game this year. 24 games in a row they've been together. They go up against Southern Miss defensively.
Cedric Scott, number 96, is a co-defensive player of the year for Conference USA. 4'6", 40, 275 pounds.
Again, 2nd in the country in yards allowed, 8th in the country in points allowed. The weakest portion of this defense is their run D, but it still ranks 21st in the land. That's Tomlinson out as a receiver and in motion. Printers throws to the fullback, George Lane. Lost the football, but it's recovered by one of his offensive linemen. Oh, good advantage for TCU to hold on to possession at the Jeff Bowers team. Forced Lane to put it on the ground. Jeff Milliken came up with the recovery.
Chad Williams, number 9, is the defensive free safety who comes up. Watch him, gets broken down, hits him with his shoulder right there, and drove it by Kirk. He drove that shoulder right into the football and caused a fumble.
A lot of times you'll find those defensive backs that try to put their helmet or their shoulder right in the ball, and obviously there it popped it loose. I don't know if he was looking forward to having to tackle George Lane there in the open field.
So what would have been a gain of about 9 becomes a gain of 5. Second down run for Lane again, and he has the first down at the 11. Well, the junior from Alvin, Texas, gets the ball back in his hands right away. The back 7 for Southern Miss. They get Roy McGee back. Very good linebacker. Missed the last 2.5 games with an ankle injury. And their secondary.
Secondary is the thing that it'll be, in my mind, key tonight, because, Mike, you mentioned it. TCU is going to try to throw. The secondary, the safeties, you look at Raymond Walls and Leo Barnes, number 1 and number 2 on the team in tackles. They love to be aggressive and up into the line of scrimmage. TCU is going to try to throw to stretch that defense a little bit.
First and 10 from the 12. Tomlinson looks to bounce outside. Shows you a little bit of what he has, the strength and the power to keep going after the initial hit. 7 yards.
I talked to LT this morning about this defense, and he was so excited to have a chance to show the nation that he is the real deal. You can see the power, breaking the tackles. You got to do more than have an arm tackle on LT. You have to be able to get in front of him and try to wrap up, and there he's able to break some tackles and pick up some valuable yards.
TCU has scored 43 out of the 44 times in the red zone. 31 TDs, 13 field goals.
That is solid.
And that is amazing.
Because they run it like that with Lane short of the goal line. But enough, I believe, for a first down, so they're going to have 4 cracks from less than a yard out. They did not turn it over inside the 20 this year. It's an efficient offense, and it's an offense with just a little bit of question tonight. We don't know exactly what we're going to see from them.
Well, I was going to mention that tonight Mike Schultz is going to call his first game, because in the past, Dennis Francione, the head coach, was basically the offensive coordinator, and he called all the plays. Mike Schultz tonight calling his first game, and I got to say, in this first drive, I love the way he's mixing the play action with the run. It's been very effective so far.
On first and goal, Tomlinson. He is stopped. Brought back, and the man Lee is highlighted at the beginning of the game. Cedric Scott from Gulfport, Mississippi, made the play.
If you're going to stop a football team on a goal line, the first thing you got to do is penetration. And that time, watch the entire Southern Mississippi defensive line go into the backfield. One of the things I used to use, Kirk, as a coaching point was create a line of scrimmage beyond the line of scrimmage. Get behind those guys, and they did a terrific job, didn't they?
They sure did. They got in there, and B.J. Roberts, the tight end, who was trying to block Cedric Scott, I don't think he even saw him.
From the 4, receiver LaTerrence Dunbar in the backfield with Printers, who calls timeout. So Casey Printers and company will get comfortable before second and goal from the 4. Opening TCU drive of the game.
GMAC
Alabama Bowl scoreless. Gary Patterson's team Stopped Southern Miss on the opening drive. Good punt return. Good field position. Now 2nd and goal after the loss of 3. Long count by Printers. They'll go option. Casey tried to turn it up and only got a yard or so. Roy McGee from his linebacker spot. The pressure from Chad Williams as well.
It's a play you'll see typically in college football when you get inside that 5-yard line. The way defenses like to play pressure and man on the outside, you're either going to have the ability to pitch it quickly to the tailback, or an athletic quarterback can fake that pitch and dive underneath. And I think that's what Printers wanted to do there.
Southern Miss is obviously not going to let Tomlinson run the ball.
That's right.
So they're going to make the quarterback run it on the option.
They were ready for that. They definitely scouted that play out.
2 tight ends, 1 receiver to the near side on 3rd down, and Printers will throw. Stayed behind the line, pump, and threw the touchdown to Lane. Use of the pump fake. Gets TCU on the board. Lane, a good receiver. That's his 3rd touchdown catch on the season. Kalaki on for the extra point. Missed just 1 this season. And out of the hold of Matt Schobel, puts TCU on top. They scored on an opening drive for the 7th time in 12 games this year.
Well, Casey Printers has worked hard in the offseason to become more of a mobile quarterback there. He has a little bit of a shake, buying as much time as possible back in the end zone. Touchdown for TCU.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of the 2000 GMAC Mobile Bowl is presented by GMAC and their family of financial services, and in part by Red Lobster. You love seafood, we love seafood. Let's meet at our place tonight and go overboard. Red Lobster, go overboard.
Short scoring drive of 41 yards, but don't forget the key portion. LeVar Veal, the senior, 29-yard punt return to give TCU a short field, and the Horned Frogs lead 7-0.
It's very important here that Southern Mississippi, who's lost 3 of the last 4 ball games, comes back here now, Kirk and Mike, and answers, because they're psychologically down right now.
Raymond Walls, the deep man, takes the Kalaki kick at the 4. One nice move, but snowed under. Only gets it out to the 16. And the man who caught the touchdown, Lane, and the offense will rest. Watch the nation's top-ranked defense go to work against the junior quarterback, very intelligent quarterback in Jeff Kelly.
Well, Jeff Kelly needs to come out here early in this game. Lee mentioned answering, and a lot of times people point to the quarterback. It's interesting, though. They're coming out, they're spreading the offense, and they're playing a lot in the shotgun here in these first few snaps, trying to get him away from the pressure.
First drive started at the 17, this one at the 18. And the pass is caught by, no drop by Handy. Had his hand on it, but was separated from the ball quickly. Remember, he is just coming back from injury, a broken scapula, didn't play the last about month of the season, so hasn't taken contact in a while.
Handy should have had this ball, although it was thrown a little bit to his outside. He's got to make that catch. Remember, I think it's a good call by the Southern Miss to put him in a shotgun. Remember, the guy's had 60 sacks. Yo, do something different. Good maneuver.
It helps also the offensive line, probably as healthy as they've been in a long, long time.
Second down run goes nowhere. Not uncommon for runs against TCU. Chad Baer led the charge to tackle Kelby Nance. We talked about this defense. Nothing speaks more than those numbers right there.
You know, TCU, if you look at their conference, they play in the WAC. We heard all year about LaDainian Tomlinson, what a great running back he has been. But if you talk to people close to their program, they talk about the defense quite a bit, and they talk about how they've been able to shut teams down. And of course, LT goes out and he steals the headlines with the big yardage.
3rd and 11. Tough down for Kelly. Throws on the run, incomplete. He stepped up in the pocket, saw Kenneth Johnson, could not get it to him on the run.
It seems like the last 2 or 3 years in college football, we've had a team in that second tier that they've had the offensive big name like a Sean King at Tulane, but they played very good defense. Chad Pennington and Marshall last year, they played very good defense, and now this year it's TCU with LaDainian Tomlinson, and of course the Frogs this year played superior defense.
But it's interesting also, remember, when Dennis Francione got there with Gary Patterson, their first year they were 40th in the nation in total defense. They've now moved to 1. That is absolutely amazing to me. And this has got to be the weirdest looking punt situation I've ever seen. Look at it. Looks like Pop Warner, doesn't it? What are they trying to do here, Kirk? Tell me.
Fake him out.
Forget about it.
Punt by Hallman is another nice one. Veal at the 38. They avoided the block in the back, but could not avoid the oncoming Southern Miss players. Brought down at the 40-yard line. Pickup of just 2. Byron Gill made the tackle. Oh, the foodmobile's been sweet, hasn't it, boys? I think it's a $5 roast turkey.
That's right, $5 for a turkey.
I'll get you one second half.
Ooh, give me one.
Hi, I'm
who will beat the clock on Christmas night. The 2-minute drill final round on ESPN. Kenny Mayne, the guest question asking, will come from Regis Philbin, Marcus Camby, Mike Greenberg, and Mike Golick. 3 contestants remain. See who's crowned the king of sports trivia over on ESPN Monday night, Christmas night, 7 Eastern time. TCU leads by 7 in the first game for Gary Patterson, taking over for Dennis Francione, who is in the stadium here tonight. A late arrival. Pass is incomplete, dropped by LaTerrence Dunbar. Penalty markers down on the near side. Dunbar, the sophomore, out of Dallas. TCU had an ineligible player downfield, so that will bring them back. There is Dennis Francione, now the head coach at Alabama, and most of his staff will be with his TCU staff will be with him at Alabama, except for the head coach Patterson and Mike Schultz, who's doing the play calling here this evening. All of the other assistants will be Alabama assistants with Francione. Most of them, except for one, are here back in their old TCU jobs for one final night. This is kind of an auld lang syne night in so many ways for TCU, including 26 seniors. Printers intercepted as he was being held. Leo Barnes, who's taken 3 back this season, has another one. Touchdown! Will come on to try the extra point to tie the game. Out of the hold of the punter Mark Hallman, Hanna didn't miss an extra point this year. And the junior ties the game. 4th time this year he's kicked an extra point after a Leo Barnes interception.
This is just a young quarterback making a mistake, trying to make something happen under pressure. Southern Miss getting after him. Once he starts to go down, he just heaves the ball, and Leo Barnes, who we had a very entertaining conversation with yesterday about his chances in this game, knows exactly what to do. He's a very good athlete, and once he made that interception, he was gone.
The reason why I made that interception of pressure was DeQuincy Scott, number 78, made the good pressure on him. And that's important because DeQuincy Scott had 14 quarterback knockdowns already this year. He looks like a tremendous football player at 6'1", 265 on the inside to help Barnes make that play.
What's amazing there is he was even held, and he still got in there to Printers.
That is the 5th time in Barnes' career that he's taken an interception back for a touchdown. And Printers, who has made better decisions Remember, he's just a sophomore. He's matured, but there he was trying to almost make too much of a play.
Trying to create. He has a lot of confidence. You see it all the time in football, especially in college football. When you have a young quarterback, he's just trying to make too many things happen. There, after Barnes made the interception, you had to appreciate Southern Miss's defense looking for a block and kind of sending him through a convoy all the way into the end zone.
With Terrence Dunbar, leading kickoff return man in the nation, can't get to this one. It goes out of bounds. Good field position for TCU. We mentioned Dennis Franchione's here tonight. He's standing by with Jerry Punch.
Coach, this has to be very unusual for you. This is your football team, but it isn't your football team here, TCU, we're talking about.
Well, there's a lot of memories out there, but I think I passed the baton to Gary, and I don't have the anxiety that I would have standing over there on that sideline. I'm feeling a little bit better right here.
You got to be very proud of him and his staff and what they have done, and excited for him and the new opportunity he has at this football program.
Gary is a great coach, great defensive coach, and he'll make a great head coach. He knows these kids, and he knows them well. He'll do very well.
Very unusual for Casey Printers to make a mistake like that.
Well, Casey has not done that much, and our team did not turn the ball over very many times, and they're going to start giving the ball to that guy right there a little bit, and then that'll take a little pressure off Casey because he'll put him in 2nd and 5.
Got to ask you about Alabama. How's it been coming here? You've only been here a couple of weeks, but I know you've been very, very busy.
Well, it's been hectic, but I've done this before, and the people have been wonderful. We've been received very well, and it's exciting for me to be at a place that's so tradition-rich and has such high expectations and is so passionate about Alabama football.
Hey, Coach, best of luck to you. Excited for your opportunity and a great year at TCU.
Thank you very much.
Michael?
Jerry, thank you. Dennis Franchione, responsible for turning this program around, and we'll tell you something about Dennis in a second in regards to his appearance here tonight. Carried by Lane, forward for 4. After a Tomlinson run of 5, it's 3rd and 1. Don't for a second think that Dennis was trying to grandstand and show up and be around here tonight. It was kind of begging and coaxing just to even get him to come on and do an interview. He wanted to stay out of the limelight. Now at Alabama, after inheriting a 1-10 team, taking TCU to 3 consecutive bowl games, 7-5 the first year, then 8-4, and this year 10-1. Third and a long yard. And Tomlinson will take it for the first down, just shy of midfield.
The thing about Dennis Franchione that he's going to bring to Alabama is going to bring discipline and a work ethic that I think they had at times, but it was inconsistent. He is going to make sure they're doing things, the players, the right way on and off the field, and that's very important in today's game, and I think that's something that the Alabama program really desperately needs. There's a lot of talent there. They returned 15 starters, including a lot of skill players. They could be competitive within this next season.
A lot of Alabama fans here in the Mobile area. Casey Printers to throw here on 1st down. And the pass is caught by Terrence Dunbar to the 36-yard line. 16 first down yards. Sophomore to sophomore. Printers to Dunbar.
And I like this play because they got number 3, Dunbar, coming in a curl route. But I like it even better because what they do is they roll out Printers because he had an interception on a drop back. It's a very good call by the offensive coordinator. Once you have a quarterback make a mistake, you try to change it immediately. Terrence Dunbar is a nice-looking receiver because he found the open spot, Kirk. I like the way he settled in there.
Just sat right in there against the zone. You got to find the pockets, and he was able to do that. Safety stayed up, and then big void there, and Printers just put it right in for the first down.
Cedric James is the slot man. The lone back Tomlinson, who wears a bullseye with his success. Tackled there by Rod Davis, the redshirt freshman from down here in Gulfport. LT has carried it 6 times tonight for 26 yards.
Rod Davis, number 24, was a freshman All-American. You know, they've had a freshman All-American in Southern Mississippi 3 years in a row. And this kid was one of the best defensive linebackers around, 6'2", 231, redshirt freshman and a terrific star of the future.
And with so many seniors starting on this defense, they will build their defense around him for the next 2 or 3 years.
Adelius Thomas, John Nix, and Derek Nix, the 3 in a row freshman All-Americans. Tomlinson tries to bounce it outside. Good tackle by Alex Ray. Came up to get LT. flag came down also. Ray, the redshirt freshman, made the hit. TCU also guilty of holding, so it'll drop them back about 10 yards. Lee, Gary Patterson tonight, we mentioned first time in his life he's been a head coach. Talk about Francione with him on the field, and Dennis has certainly helped prepare Gary for the job. How tough is tonight?
I'll tell you what the difference is. The difference is what they call strategy and tactics. Strategy is what he's done all the time getting ready in a meeting and everything. Tactics is now 4th and 6. Do I go for it? Do I get my quarterback hurt? Do I change my quarterback? What happens? Tactics will be the biggest problem that Gary Patterson has, not strategy.
And how many times you think it through your head? Is it different when it's really happening?
Oh, can you believe it?
Dennis obliging many of the local media here in Alabama. The Alabama coach breathes. You want to get a soundbite from him. Down here on 2nd and 16. High toss is incomplete. Printers was looking for Cedric James, and the DBs love that. Greg Brooks is seeing a high ball coming out, and he's going after the receiver's ribs.
One of the things you have to do as a quarterback when you roll out, obviously you have to be able to throw the football on target and have consistency throwing the football. Right now, it seems like early in the game, Casey Printers is still trying to find himself right now and find his accuracy. He had pressure from behind, but he had time to get this ball off and throw it on the money. It's been a tough catch there. And a nice play by the defensive back, Greg Brooks, to knock that ball loose.
Cedric Scott, 96, forced that play.
Run 3rd and 15 with Tomlinson. Needs to get to the 26. Doesn't even get to the 38-yard line. 3rd and 15 is a sure passing down, except when you have a 2,000-yard rusher. And Southern Miss was ready for it.
And a great defense.
Yes.
You know, sometimes you want to rely on that defense, punt the ball. He even said that last night in a meeting. A punt's okay because you're going to be able to get the defense back out there, and they have a lot of confidence in their defense.
A couple of players banged up here. Chris Vaughn limped off the field. Another player still down. As Tomlinson continues to carry the load for this TCU offense. He is 8 for 31 in the early going. Averaged 5.8 on the season per carry.
Thing about LT is he gets better as the game goes on. 3rd quarter typically is his best quarter. He likes to try to wear a defense down and then try to pick up his big yards later in the game.
It looks like to me evident right now that TCU has the best offensive football team and a very good defensive team, and Southern Mississippi is going to win this ball game. They're going to win it with their defense because their offense doesn't look very sharp against that really good TCU defense.
They're going to have to win by playing,
Exactly.
you know, getting turnovers and maybe blocking a punt,
Yeah.
just doing the things that over the years they've kind of grown accustomed to.
Virginia Tech style.
I apologize. Edric Pruitt was the injured player who came off. So a punt here on 4th and 13 for the freshman walk-on John Brazil, whose right foot is probably a slight bit chilly. Toe meets leather. Kicker says ouch. It's a high one up there. Try to down it inside the 10. Got a bounce on the grass, but they could not keep it in the field of play. Greg Walls went up high to try to knock it back before it broke the plane, but it did. Take it out to the 20.
That was a sensational kick.
Yeah.
Walls just mistimed his jump here.
You know, the interesting thing about Walls, he's the only non-Texas starter on offense and defense, and he's from Mississippi. 21 out of the 22 starters from TCU are from the state of Texas.
That's good. I like that.
Would you go
like
anywhere?
that?
It's a bowl game.
Give me a good stuff right there.
that.
He's Picayune, Mississippi.
I wouldn't leave that state to go get talent somewhere else.
1st and 10 for a Southern Miss offense, which has seen the defense put points up. Kelby Nance, the senior. He's from Hattiesburg, where Southern Miss is. He gains 4 yards. It is 2nd and 6. We mentioned this is the first of 20 bowls on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2. On this network tomorrow night, it's the 2000 Las Vegas Bowl. What a job Arkansas's defense did at the end of the season. They take on Mr. Thomas and the UNLV running rivals. It's a home game for UNLV at their stadium, the Silver Bowl. just off the strip. You'll see it at 8 Eastern right here on ESPN2 tomorrow. Kelly throws. Nice job by Handy to hang on. Well, he dropped a tough one earlier and caught a tougher one there.
That time they brought number 59, Terrence Madden, the middle linebacker. And I really like the fact that Kelly, Kirk, watch this, he hits the hot pattern. Explain to him what the hot pattern is. Linebacker comes, he throws right behind him, right?
That's right. Linebacker comes, you got to be able to find that void and fill the void with a receiver. And it was a really good catch by Handy to hold on to that and give them a chance here. Now it's 3rd and short. That's what they want in order to move the chains and try to pick up first downs.
One back set. Nance, first down. To the 34-yard line. The first down of the game for the Golden Eagles. Kelby Nance, a senior out of Hattiesburg. Derek Nix, a 1,000-yard rusher each of the last 2 seasons. Went out with an injury, played only 5 games this year, so it's been Nance, a senior, stepping up at the very end of the year because junior Dwayne Woods has been slowed by an ankle sprain. And the quarter ends before the next snap. Southern Miss will have it, 1st and 10. Their own 34 when the second quarter begins. Jeff Bauer's team a defensive score. Gary Patterson's team the first score. All tied at 7 for the 2000 GMAC Mobile, Alabama Bowl. 2 of the GMAC Mobile, Alabama Bowl dominated by TCU offensively, but the 1 turnover. Thank you, Kirk. Or was that Lee?
That was Kirk.
The form of the circle?
Yes.
It's
you.
No, he took the glove off.
Glove off.
He had his glove off. He tried to be cool, take his glove off.
On this cold night here in Mobile, 1st and 10. Kelly with the blitz was picked up nicely. Mobile quarterback will get out of bounds. Pushed out of bounds at the 38. Jerry Punch, after the quarter, spoke with the head coach of the Golden Eagles.
Coach, great first quarter for your defense. You're mixing it up offensively now, moving the football, the short passing game and the run.
Yeah, that's more good. You know, we hurt ourselves with a penalty, and then we didn't execute an option on short yardage. I think probably the biggest thing I'd like to see us do better is establish some field position. We hadn't covered punts very well, and we kicked the ball out of bounds to give them the ball on the 35-yard line on the kickoff. We got to get better field position, but we're playing better.
Hey, good first quarter. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
After a pickup of 4, 2nd and 6, they're earning some good field position now. 3 yards there for Dwayne Woods. Kenneth Hilliard came in for the weak safety spot to join Terrence Maiden on the tackle. Well, Bauer's age 47. Southern Miss is his life. 22 of his last 29 years have been in Hattiesburg as either a head coach, an assistant coach, or a player. He was a star quarterback, this team's MVP in his senior captain year of 1975. Their typical 3 wide, 1 back for 3rd and 3. The junior Kelly from here in Alabama looking for the long ball. Flag is down and it's intercepted. On the deflection, Greg Walls came away with it, but this might be a pass interference call on Southern Miss, on TCU, excuse me.
They're going to get Curtis Fuller here for pushing downfield. Almost one of those calls that could go either way.
But Fuller, number 18, did grab him a little bit. When we look at this replay in a second, you'll see he grabbed a little bit, Kirk, and I think that's where the officials saw it. Yep.
That's why a hold instead of pass interference.
They're kind of going back and forth here. First of all, Jeff Kelly audibilized to the basically the fade route because he saw one-on-one coverage. You could see there with the left hand, they were going back and forth. Tough call.
That defensive player almost always gets caught on that play because he's so wide open, the official can't miss him. You know, if they hold him, sometimes when there's a bunch of people around, they don't call it. But that one was wide open there. That's why he called it.
They're marking the ball, but not giving Southern Miss enough yardage. They just walked off a 3-yard gain. It's a 10-yard penalty. The ball should be into TCU territory at the Horned Frog 49. Not at the 44. This has been mismarked. I think the line judge is on it. We're checking it out right now. Defensive holding in college football is a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the previous snap. from the line of scrimmage.
Line of scrimmage, right?
Right. That's what he said.
I thought you were saying what you were about to say.
I was on my way down the wrong road.
Right.
You were bailing me out.
That's right.
It's my partner taking care of it.
We took care of it. They're going to give calculators to these Big Ten officials pretty soon. These are typical Big Ten officials. Can't count.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Lee, come on.
I had him 10 years, I'm telling you.
You know my friends back home in Ann Arbor are thinking Anthony Carter right now.
Absolutely. They ruined the biggest game of my life by not knowing the rules.
Yeah,
but
Big Ten those Big Ten officials, that game?
Absolutely, sweetheart. It was at Michigan, too. Just thought I'd mention it.
There's a nice group of guys here working this game. The Big Ten officials visited with them. They told us that they enjoyed working some of Kirk's games at Ohio State, as a matter of fact. Well, they shorted Southern Miss 2 yards on that penalty. It should be at the other 49. In any case, it's a first down and a 5-yard run for Dwayne Woods. The junior.
Dwayne Woods there needs to buy a little bit more time, have some patience. He had Torrin Tucker leading him around, pulling, and he had a lot of room to run, and he didn't want to wait on Tucker to lead him down the field. He cut up underneath him, and if he would have waited, he probably would have picked up another 5 or 10 yards.
Woods is from Slidell, Louisiana, a very accomplished high school back. Ran for more than 7,000 career yards in the high school ranks. Now a junior, his most playing time this year with the injury to Derek Nix. On 2nd and 5. Trying to bounce it to the outside. Nothing there. First time we've called Aaron Schobel, the All-America senior defensive end for TCU.
That was a major league play when they call. Why did he make that play? Because he shed the blocker. And watch him. He drops his left shoulder, drops into the defensive man, and then slips out to the outside. Look at that. Boy, Kirk, great players make plays when they get rid of the blocker. Look at that. That's called shed and tackle, my friend.
He threw Orlando Dantzler, who, by the way, is 6'3", 265.
Third down toss, complete to Bobby Garner. That's a first down across the 40. In August, Bobby Garner was the backup to Jeff Kelly at quarterback. They moved him to tight end, and the first string and second string coming out of spring hook up for a first down.
That was a simple 5-step drop, and Jeff Kelly got rid of the football as soon as he hit. He's in the shotgun, but basically how deep he is in the drop becomes a 5-step drop. He got rid of the football as quickly as possible to try to avoid that rush.
Well, they've made a couple of third downs. A sustained drive here for Southern Miss. Now Kelly with time in the pocket, complete to Handy. Gets it to the 32 after watching the last 2 Southern Miss games. They lost to Cincinnati, and then the East Carolina 14-9 home loss. And going back and watching how spotty their offense was, you can see the difference having Leroy Handy in the game makes. Got a little more confidence as an offensive unit now.
Having Handy in there, having the offensive line a little bit healthier, and also the tempo of the offense. They're getting in and out of the huddle. Jeff Kelly's getting rid of the football quick on the passes.
On 2nd and 3. First down as Woods took a hit, was stopped for a moment, but got it to the 26-yard line. So against the nation's top-ranked scoring and yardage defense, Southern Miss, a very nice drive.
Interesting. The last 2 times that East Carolina has been in bowl games, the team, now listen to this, opponent team of minus 35 yards rushing.
By the way, you should probably mention those teams that they play.
Amazing.
East Carolina and USC. Yeah, 2 pretty good offensive teams.
They're moving the ball on a real fine TCU defense here.
Option Kelly to Woods. A lot of people there ready to say hello, including Charlie Owens, the weak safety from McGregor, Texas. But Schobel's quickness off the edge forced it wide. You see Schobel, he was ready to call for a substitute. That is not uncommon on this TCU defense. They have people to keep you fresh up front.
They rotate a number of people. About every 5 or 6 plays, you'll see a new group of defenders come in, especially up front within the defensive line. And what's interesting is Gary Patterson said that it makes the players practice harder because they know they're going to get a chance to play in games, and they stay fresher as well.
12th play of the drive. Kelly keeping. Got it out to the 24-yard line.
You know who popularized that, I think?
Bobby Bowden.
Bobby Bowden, Florida State. In fact, in the last year's championship game against Virginia Tech, in the middle of the second quarter, Florida State had played 54 football players, and Virginia Tech had played 28. And people say to me, well, why did they beat them in the fourth quarter? I just told you the story. 54 guys played in the second quarter of the Florida State-Virginia Tech game last year.
That's right. The trick to that is trying to keep the players happy, because a lot of guys want to be on the field every play. But when you have the kind of success that they have at Florida State, obviously it's working.
Saw Georgia Tech go that way after their game against North Carolina State. The overtime thriller we saw on ESPN in Raleigh.
Seems like you see that more in the South, in the SEC, and the teams that can really run on defense. They've kind of bought into that theory, and it works.
They need to get to the 18 for a first down. 4 receivers. And the whistle blows again. I think after they had stopped for the officials' conversation, they did not reset the play clock. And Jeff Bauer is telling his offense to huddle up again, since we've already seen that 4 receiver, 1 back formation for about a minute. He's going to send Bobby Garner, the tight end, into the game. And bring out Danny Fowler, wide receiver. So they'll go 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 back for this 3rd and 6. It's been a terrific drive, but now Southern Miss has to take a timeout. Oh, good. They'll have more time to think about this 3rd down coming up. Each team has burned 1 here in the first half. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the great
Tomlinson being held moderately in check by the Southern Miss defense. And Kirk, you said during the break, the Southern Miss offense also.
Yeah, this is the best way to stop LT. You just keep him on the sideline. You know, look how many plays. This drive alone, and the time that they're taking up in this drive.
Play 13, needs to get to the 17. Schobel chasing Kelly. Kelly fought forward to get within a couple of yards of the first down, but this should be a 38-yard field goal attempt coming up. With it 4th and 2, a chance to take the lead. Will bring the kicker on.
14, Aaron Schobel. The thing I liked about this guy is he never quit, Kirk, but the most important thing, he's very durable. 45 straight games he's started for TCU. Good-looking football player. I think he's about the size of an outside linebacker for the NFL.
Grant Hanna's attempt will officially be 37 yards. Missed half of his attempts from this length this year. Line drive. Did not get there. Well, if anybody got a piece on the way up. But Hanna misses from 37 yards out. And 13 plays in 6.5 minutes. All it did was keep LT on the sideline. Hanna missed the field goal. Still tied at 7.
GM2's exclusive presentation of the 2000 GMAC Mobile Bowl is brought to you by TiVo, TV your way, and by Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. Move your money. Get well connected.
With Jerry Punch, Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, Mike Tirico at the GMAC Mobile, Alabama Bowl, the first of 25 postseason bowl games. TCU takes over from its own 20, and Tomlinson's in motion. They give to Lane for about 4 yards. George Lane, the fullback, averages about 5 carries per game and takes it about 6 yards per carry at 253 pounds. The 6-foot junior.
Go George Lane next year. You mentioned he's a junior. Next year he could be more involved in handling the football. Maybe at times put him in a 1-back and allow him to show what he can do just carrying the football. He's been a great blocker and trying to open up holes for LT. But next year, look for him to carry the load a little bit more as a running back.
NFL very interested in Lane as his future progresses. They run Tomlinson straight into the line to the 26-yard line. LaDainian picks up a couple.
If you'll notice, LT has on his wristbands, and he has 2 things on him. One of them is underrated. The reason why, he has the other one is feed the family. The reason why he has underrated, he has the best stats of anybody that's ever played college football as a running back and not win the Heisman. And number two, he's obviously know where he's going next year, is feed the family.
Mel Kiper has Tomlinson, one of his top 25 seniors. Looking forward to the draft on 3rd and 4. Looking Tomlinson's way. It's Lane instead, who cleared out some space. It's going to be just short of the first down.
Trying to use Tomlinson as a decoy, whether it's on play action pass or motioning him out, sending him out in patterns. And George Lane is kind of having a field day as far as he's concerned. He's caught the ball and run the ball. He's probably had 3 or 4 touches already.
How about that for complete confusion? The little pylon to mark first down had been knocked forward to the 32. I knew the drive started at the 20, but it was very close to see if Lane actually got to the 30 in the first down. Apparently he did. Slightly confusing.
Very important here. TCU has to get back to throwing the football on 1st and 10 because the safeties from Southern Miss are starting to cheat up. They're up. Look at them right now at the line of scrimmage. There's 10 guys at the line of scrimmage, and it's because they're not throwing the ball right now. I wouldn't be shocked here to see them throw. See?
8th touch for Lane, nothing.
You can't run into a 10-man front.
You can't run into a 10-man front with George Lane. Now, I don't care what anybody tells me. If I got a great back lane, the LaDainian Tomlinson, I'm going to quit using him as a decoy. Kirk, the guy averages 180 yards every game he's played in a college career. Now, I know those other guys have put up people up there, but give the ball to Tomlinson and see what he can do.
They will.
I hope they do.
You have to try to stretch that defense a little bit. I don't care who it is. You can't run into a 10-man front. There you go.
Play pass, 2nd and 10. Printers looking long downfield. He's looking for Cedric James, and he's 10 yards over his head.
Well, I haven't seen much of this game, but I promise you, Casey Printers is not going to beat Southern Miss throwing the football. Now, I'm telling you, if that LaDainian Tomlinson doesn't start running the ball more, then I don't care what they're going to do. They're going to get out of rhythm, and they're going to give this Southern Mississippi team more and more and more a chance to win this football game. Look at that. I mean, I don't care if you got 9.
See, you and I would be butting heads right now if I were quarterback, because I'm saying that all they have to, I'm not saying that Printers has to win the game throwing. Just throw the ball enough to stretch the defense, to keep the safeties honest, and then run LaDainian Tomlinson.
Okay. But if he doesn't complete it, it doesn't hurt him.
On 3rd and 10. Pass is caught for a first down. No, it's going to be shy of him. I can't tell with these markers, Lee. What's going on over there? It's Kevin Brown with the catch.
This is where I talk to you about strategy and tactics.
It is a first down.
Yeah, it is.
Good call.
First time.
I thought it was going to be a 4th. Well, we're going to give you that strategy and tactics
later
and earning your money. I'll give it to you later. That's where you'll earn his money.
There's Mike Schultz, who is taking over as TCU's offensive coordinator. He had also been considered, along with Gary Patterson, for the head coaching job. Decided to take the offensive coordinator job. Loved the family situation in Fort Worth. Wanted to stay in Texas. Here's a first down throw for Printers.
There you go.
Looked easy there to Tim Maiden. To the 41-yard line. At 2, a first down at 18 yards.
Good call.
That's pitch and catch. I mean, if they're gonna walk everybody up in there, you fake to LaDainian, and now what that is going to do is going to force these safeties to back off a little bit, and then you hand the ball off to Tomlinson. Maiden's going to push off. Very simple play action from the backfield, and look how soft the corner is. Printers throws the ball. Printers can throw the football. He's a sophomore. He's made some mistakes here early in this game, but he's very effective throwing the football. Now you have a chance to hand the ball more to LaDainian Tomlinson.
Nice job by Jim Mullendore, the head linesman, as Maiden was involved in some verbal back and forth, telling him to settle down. From the 41, here is LT now. Spinning. Couldn't see free of Rod Davis's tackle, but he did pick up 7 yards on first down.
TCU is used to playing teams and being in 2nd and 3 and 2nd and 4. You know, when they haven't had success tonight, they've been in 2nd and 9 and 3rd and 10. It's very difficult against a good defense like Southern Miss to try to move the sticks when you're in 3rd and long situations.
at that 1st and 10 line.
I noticed one thing about LT already. When you hit him, he always moves forward. Reminds me of a great back like Marcus Allen, who was the best I've ever seen at getting hit and moving forward. Tomlinson has got that low center of gravity, and he's tough enough, Kirk, to drop that shoulder and go forward. I like that about him.
He definitely has low center of gravity, great balance, great vision. Kind of reminds me of an Emmitt Smith type of back as far as the power when Emmitt was in his prime with the Cowboys.
5'11", 220. LaDainian Tomlinson forced the Southern Miss defense after that one to take a timeout and talk about it.
It's here.
The USS Alabama here in Mobile, Alabama. Of course, great Civil War history, the Battle of Mobile Bay. Back in 1864, Lee, this was the city where the famous words were spoken, "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead."
Oh, good stuff. This is the bowl season. I see you've been doing your homework.
That would be a retouch of the earlier touch.
Thank you. Just
1st and 10, the 31, full steam ahead for TCU. Printers looking in zone. Incomplete. Kevin Brown, the sophomore from Hewitt, Texas, thought about it.
Again, I love the play call there on 1st and 10, just trying to keep the Southern Miss defense honest. And Brown doesn't have blazing speed, but he runs precise routes. You can see he stems the corner. If the ball is thrown on the money, he's got a touchdown, and it's pretty good effort there by Brown to try to come up with it. And right now, on the deep throws, Casey Printer is just a little bit off target.
Adjusting the play for 2nd and 10. Option. Good job by Southern Miss defensively. Rod Davis was the one who made the contact.
Tell you, Rod Davis is going to be a big-time player for Southern Miss. It's amazing to think he is a redshirt freshman, 6'2", about 230 pounds, lightning quick. And here as Printers tried to come on the option, he just outran him to the corner and brought him down. He's really a strong tackler, too. You're going to keep an eye on him down the road at Southern Miss.
Well, TCU facing this 3rd down takes timeout as well. So each team has just one timeout remaining. 5 and change left here, 2nd quarter. Summary. Doak Walker, a winner, is the best running back in the country. LaDainian Tomlinson averaging just about 4 per. Leo Barnes, a semi-finalist for the Thorpe Award that goes to the best defensive back in the land, has a 50-yard INT for TD. That's where we stand at 7 apiece. 3rd and 9 with Printers out of the shotgun. Sending 4 in the pattern. Pass is incomplete. Tomlinson lost his footing, but I don't think that ball would have been anywhere near LT.
One of the reasons why he didn't get it anywhere near LT is number 96, Cedric Scott, the kid I talked about at the beginning of the ball game. Did he come in there, Kirk, or what? Did you see him?
That's right.
Woo.
He was in there. It's the guy you talked about, right?
I'm telling you, he is a good-looking football player. In our interview yesterday, he was as good-looking, classy kid as we've seen as a defensive lineman this year.
Chris Kalaki from 47 yards would be his season long. He's 4 of 5 from between 40 and 49 this year. Not much wind to speak of. What there is helping slightly. Block! And this may be a touchdown! Absolutely! Swoop and score, perhaps! No, good job to get him by the punter, who is the holder, but Zane Houston comes up with the block recovery and puts them in excellent field position. In bowl games, special teams is a factor. John Nix up front with the penetration.
The rush comes right up the middle. You can see that they had some people leaping, but I think it was the penetration that actually was able to get inside there. And I'll tell you, Lee, we always talk about the long kicks and low trajectory, and this time it looks like it caught up to him.
One of the things you do against a soccer kicker, always go up the middle, because that's the weakness of a soccer kicker.
After the 31-yard return. Kelly looks for the touchdown. Incomplete. It should have been intercepted by LeVar Veal. Pass was intended for Sean Mills, the leading pass catcher for Southern Miss. Exciting couple of minutes here. Whole Week presented by Capital One will kick off officially on Christmas Eve this Sunday. From Hawaii, the Jeep Oahu Bowl. Georgia and Virginia, the final game for Virginia's George Welsh and Jim Donnan for Georgia. 8:30 Eastern on Christmas Eve here on ESPN. After the incompletion, 2nd and 10. Kelby Nance, the senior from Hattiesburg, gained about 8 yards to the 16. Before we get too far removed from that blocked field goal, credit Matt Schobel, the brother of the excellent defensive end Aaron Schobel, who was the holder there. He made a very nice job, a very nice tackle. He got up quick to make the play. There's the 3rd Schobel out here, a freshman Bo Schobel, who is Aaron's brother. Matt related as well.
Talk about incredible genes. These guys are all just huge, the Schobels.
Good family fights. Bo is the cousin, Matt's the brother. Correct myself. 3rd and a couple. From the 17, though, trying to run forward against this defense and get the first down with Kelby Nance.
Kelby Nance, 6 foot 234, seems to have added a little bit of spark to this running game now to run it right at TCU. One of the ways, Kirk, as you know, you've been taught this, to beat a football team is to beat them at their strength, and it demoralizes them. This is supposed to be a great run defense, and they're running right at them, right?
They're running right at them. They're also having a lot of success where they lead with the guard, and then there's nobody outside there. And Torrin Tucker, that big guard, look at this, how they bounce it to the outside. A lot of running room out there.
Nance got pulled down once he got to the 10-yard line. You could almost see in Charlie Owens' body language as he threw him down. You can't do this to us. But they are. Picked up 4 on 1st down.
Torrin Tucker, number 76, and you can tell by an offensive lineman when he starts to get into a groove. He's starting to go back in the huddle, and they're starting to move. They're starting to clap their hands a little bit. They're feeling, and they're gaining the confidence that Lee talked about going up against this TCU defense that's ranked number 1 in the country.
That kid's 6'6", 315 pounds.
And he can run. Watch him when he pulls.
Play pass here on 2nd down. Receiver broke open. Incomplete. Terrell Broden served tight end. The man who had the pass thrown to him, but there was something open, I think, a second before.
One thing that happens when you're able to run the football, look at all the white jerseys follow the ball carrier. Perfect play call there with the play action fake, misdirection going the other way. Just a great play there by Curtis Fuller, the safety.
Curtis Fuller made a great play by moving his right hand in front of it and not putting his left hand. The left hand would have been pass interference.
On 3rd down. Incomplete for Bobby Garner, the tight end. He was all stretched out for it, couldn't pull it in. We've seen the last 2 field goals come up no good for each side. Now Jeff Bauer will turn to his junior, Brent Hanna. (12 of 18 on the season. The miss before from 37. This one from 27. Scott Crowley's snap was good, and this kick was blocked. Oh, we mentioned at the very beginning that both teams were solid in special teams.
We also mentioned, Kirk and I did, keep your eye in the middle. Stuart Ashley, number 97, gets in there. We talked about it. Every time you get against a field goal kicker who's a soccer kicker, you go up the middle because that's his weakness. He doesn't get the ball up high enough, fast enough. And that's why they blocked it.
Tyrone Sanders also got a hand in there. I think it was a combo block. Sanders may have had it first and then deflected to Ashley. They could have had their choice. Well, the field goal kickers have combined for 0 for 3, and LT will try to turn things around, dancing for space. Gets it out to the 20-yard line and picked up just 3 yards.
Watch it come up the middle, see who gets it. Yep, yeah. Your man got it, Mike.
Sanders the first hand on it. So each team a couple of opportunities to extend the, or take the lead, I should say, but thwarted by blocked field goals. Casey Printers, 18-3 as a starting quarterback for TCU. Tomlinson's ability for cutting back is not there right now. He gains just what? Let's head back to the studio. Chris Fowler, what can you add to the telecast this evening?
Well, Mike, will you take a break at halftime? We'll have a nice feature. LT, in his own words, the Seminoles Snoop is in the doghouse. We'll tell you who's in the mix in the Virginia and Georgia jobs. Halftime report presented by Kizzles. We maintain the theme of serious football.
You got it, partner. We'll see you and Bill Curry and Rod at halftime. Happy holidays to all of you back in the studio tonight. Need to get to the 28 for a first down here. Try to get 5 with Tomlinson. Broke 2 tackles, but not the third. And Southern Miss will stop the clock here with 90 seconds to go.
Yesterday when we talked to the Southern Miss defensive players, they're all excited to have a chance to go up against LT. They're very respectful in everything that they said. But they did say he hasn't been hit. We're going to try to hit him. Leo Barnes, number 20, said, I'm going to hit him in the mouth. I'm going to hit him when he carries out his fakes. I'm going to hit him whenever I get a chance. And that's the thing that's going to be exciting in this second half, to see the Southern Miss defense going up head-to-head against LT.
They're holding him in check right now.
You got to remember one thing. TCU's defense is not playing too bad. In fact, they've got the Southern Miss offense shut out. The defense from Southern Miss has scored once, and the TCU offense has scored once. So that's a good defensive game. What do you expect with 1 versus 2?
That's right. Although you kind of sense that Southern Miss's offense is starting to find itself a little bit here.
I agree with you.
Latter part of the first half.
Some nice drives, not able to convert the field goals. The freshman John Brazil will kick. Kenneth Johnson, another freshman. Good returner, too. 14 yards per return.
Oh, how's that foot feel?
Not good. Fair catch was signaled, but Johnson let it drop. And Brazil's going to get a very nice kick out of this. Let's go to Jerry Punch on the sideline.
A couple of special guests with me, Michael, though, to my immediate right, Vice President of GMAC, Jim Farmer. To his right, the Honorable Mayor of Mobile, Mike Dow. Let's talk to Mr. Farmer first. And, Jim, you guys at GMAC have got to be ecstatic about being involved with a second-year bowl that is a complete sellout.
We are extremely happy to be a part of this thing, and more importantly, for the kids zone, to see 2,000 local kids benefit from our involvement with this bowl. We're very, very pleased.
GMAC bringing kids here, giving them a hot dog and a T-shirt. Mayor, what does this bowl mean to Mobile? It's got to be huge.
Well, the economic impact is fantastic, but more importantly, I think it gives our city a feeling of the joy of bringing America's first bowl game. You know, partnershiping with GMAC, and just making our city a better place to live.
Guys, thank you so much. A special night for Mobile and a special night for the GMAC kids in the kids zone. Michael?
Oh, absolutely, Jerry. Jerry emceed the banquet yesterday. What a pleasure it is to be here. The hospitality is wonderful. And this bowl, as we mentioned, the first bowl of the season. Many people said there's no way you can have a bowl game in Mobile, but it's been such a great community-involved event to get off the ground, and our colleague Mike Gottfried has taken no credit, but put a lot of energy, effort, and desire into helping get this bowl going, and our hats off to our friend Mike. After Kelly was tackled trying to scramble, and second and a dozen, Southern Miss is thinking about just get to halftime without a mistake here. They run the ball with Kelby Nance.
Speaking of fan support, how about the parade last night? I mean,
we killed him with the parade.
We killed him with the parade. It was,
don't tell him.
It was 900 below zero, I hear. I mean, it's not good for the Chamber of Commerce, but what were all those people doing out there?
They say that parades here in Mobile, this is the birthplace of Mardi Gras. I mean, they know how to throw a parade, whether it's 10 degrees out or not.
TCU just took its final timeout, forced Southern Miss to snap it one more time.
There's a couple of guys who were in the parade last night. Look at them. I recognize them.
Mardi Gras.
I'm telling you.
Mardi Gras started here in Mobile. before it became more popular in New Orleans. Timeout.
Horn frog.
Opportunities.
Technology.
Business.
People are friendly.
Education.
Student government.
Teamwork.
Knowledge.
Class size.
Tradition.
Encouragement.
Because I like the challenge.
E-commerce.
Community service. Faculty.
Study abroad.
Purple.
Fort Worth.
Leadership.
Learning to change the world.
Happy holidays from all of us on our ESPN Thursday Night Football crew, starting the bowl season here on ESPN2. Hope your holiday shopping is done, especially for those of you who live in the Ohio area. I want you to fight Herbie tomorrow out in the mall shopping. Kelly takes a knee, and we take it to halftime. Southern Miss scored defensively, and their defense has contained LaDainian Tomlinson. Just 52 yards for LT on 14 carries, a man who averages 196 per game. Halftime of the GMAC Mobile, Alabama Bowl. Southern Miss 7, TCU 7. Now we send it back to the studio for halftime, and Chris Fowler.
Well, Michael, thank you very much. Will that bearded troll between them with the neck, is he going to be part of the telecast? Arkansas is not a team that many folks around the country have seen, but you've seen him, and you absolutely love their linebacker. You think he's one of the best overlooked players in the nation.
Anybody that played offensive center who gets a chance to watch Quentin Caber, number 53 for the Arkansas Razorbacks, understands that this guy is a projectile. When he hits people, it's like a pickup hitting a chicken. I'm telling you, feathers, watch it, boom, right there. Tyler Watts, quarterback for Alabama, experienced what it's like to play against this guy who's going to be playing football for a long, long time, and it is so much fun to watch Quentin play.
Well, I don't know that Jason Thomas is a chicken, but he certainly is going to have to hold his own against Quentin Caber. Caber may have to deal with Thomas. He may have the bigger problem. Thomas is a star on the horizon. If you remember Michael Vick in his freshman year, Vick did everything. This guy's had some impressive runs his freshman year. He's rushed for 600 yards, more than Vick. 25 touchdowns. That's more than Vick had as a freshman. Why don't you know more about him? You haven't seen him on television much this year. 6'4", 240 pounds. Yeah, he's a Culpepper type, just like Christensen said, but he is such a player. You've got to watch this man. He can take a hit if he gets Caber coming after him.
A couple of great individual players. Rebels on their home field. Arkansas making a late run to get into that bowl game, so you can catch it tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock Eastern time. TC, Steve, the bearded troll, it's all coming to you from Las Vegas, the 2000 Las Vegas Bowl. In Mobile, Alabama, deadlocked at 7 at the break. We'll come back and talk coaching carousel right after this.
Is your scooter tough enough for this? Sharper Image Wheelie Raisers.
And that'd be a little bit different than what we've been seeing this offseason. There's a trend now towards going back to hiring coaches with experience. It used to be trendy to find the hot property who was the coordinator. Not the case now. Take a look at these numbers. After the 1996 season, 23 new coaches, only 7 head coaches hired with experience. Fast forward after the 2000 season, 22 jobs. There are 2 that are still not filled. 13, almost twice as many, have gone to coaches with experience. Why the change? Money. Simply money. More money going into the facilities, more money being paid to coaches, athletic directors becoming conservative and wanting to protect their investment by hiring someone who has experience instead of having a situation like they did at Alabama.
But the exception might be a guy like Mark Richt, a very well thought of coordinator at a program like Florida State, who's been a part of championship teams. I know it's still rumor, but if he would take that job at Virginia, can you imagine Bobby Bowden, Tommy Bowden, Chuck Amato, the 18-year assistant for Bowden, and now Mark Richt? That would be an incestuous little mob in the ACC. That'd be nasty.
Up and down the East Coast.
All those guys with the Seminole roots coming after the old man. We're going to come back, and halftime is almost over. Time to head back to Mobile. This is Leo Barnes for the Golden Eagles, stepping in, picking off printers, taking it to the house. That's the Southern Miss touchdown so far.
Heisman voting this year, the leader of the TCU offense has been held in check 2 yards under his per carry average at the half. TCU and Southern Miss all tied at 7. We're set for the third quarter of the GMAC Mobile, Alabama Bowl. Mike Tirico, Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, and Gary Punch joins us here in the second. Well, gentlemen, as we look at the second half, what you expected with the top 2 defenses in the nation. Now look ahead. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think LT's got to run the football more. I think most great running backs get a rhythm and he's only run the ball 14 times. He averages 33 times every time he plays. And I think, Kirk, they got to give him the ball. I know there's 10 up there, 11 up there, but I think they got to give him the ball, let him get the rhythm, and then I think he'll break a big one.
Well, I think you got to mix up the play calling, which they tried to do, but Southern Miss right now, early in this game, they're putting a lot of people at the line of scrimmage because they don't really feel threatened by that passing game to this point, even though they've tried to get the ball downfield. You can see here down inside the 5-yard line, they had no success. They had great penetration. The safeties are up tight at the line of scrimmage. They're all dialed in on number 5, LaDainian Tomlinson. LaDainian's a great back, but he can only do so much. He has to have some help from the other offensive players.
I think if they continue to give the ball to him, though, I think he'll break a tackle, and I think he'll go all the way in a long one. That's what I think.
Well, you're probably right, because he's done it all year. The third quarter, this quarter coming up, is his dominating quarter, and that's really when he wears defenses down.
Remember, he's had 10 touchdown runs of over 63 yards, so he can go a long way quickly.
That one turnover that you saw, the difference in the game, Leo Barnes, interception return for touchdown. We start the second half with the kickoff that dies before it can get into the hands of Terrence Dunbar. And the nation's leading kickoff return man is muted by that kick that stopped short. Here's Dr. Jerry Punch on the sideline.
Guys, at halftime is the first time as a head coach, Gary Patterson, although he's a defensive coordinator, still talked a little bit about offense. And as you said, Coach Corso, they are going to try to get LT on the boundary, going back to the option pitch to get LT outside, to get him more involved in the football game. And just before leaving the locker room, one of the offensive coaches turned to LT and said, LT, it's your quarter, man. Remember what we do in the third quarter, because this year they have outscored their opponents 91-3 in the third quarter. So watch out for LT coming your way on the outside.
Jerry, you're in locker rooms every Thursday night talking or listening to coaches talk to their teams. Give me a sense of what Patterson was like as a head coach in the locker room at halftime.
I thought he was outstanding. I thought he was very, very well organized. Obviously, he's following in Francione's footsteps. He told us he's a Francione disciple. Very organized with the defense, very organized with the offense. An entire team meeting when they first went in the locker room as well as when they came out. So I think he is going to set sail and do an outstanding job as the head man at TCU.
A holding penalty on the kickoff has slowed us down here momentarily, but obviously being the head coach at halftime and not just focusing on defensive adjustments, part of this learning curve we're watching tonight. And the official's microphone has been a problem during the night. It's a holding call on Southern Miss. It's very, very rare that you see the kicking team on a kickoff whistled for holding.
Very rare. It'd be interesting to see where are they going to re-kick, or
I think so.
Looks like the kicker's coming back out. But you know, Gary Patterson, very tough assignment, taking on this is the best defense that TCU has faced. I bet there's a little bit of a shock value right now in the huddle for TCU. They're looking around. They're accustomed to wearing teams down. Meanwhile, Southern Miss, they're not going anywhere right now as a defense.
Let me change that. The official pointed in the wrong direction. We'll be kicking off from the 45 now instead of the 35. The holding penalty obviously was on TCU.
Don't you usually push the team back if maybe the returns to the...
It must have been a hold before the return. Pre-possession foul.
Good. We got another one here. It's the way to start the second half. It's even better this way.
Well, you know, they reset the clock back to 15 minutes here in the stadium. If it was a penalty, I believe the clock would stay at 14:48 where it was after the initial kickoff. It is even better this way.
The clock should read 14:47.
14:47.
47. Well,
killing the clock style.
You were close.
Well, Jeff Bauer, the head coach, Rod at halftime, along with Chris and Coach Curry, were talking about coaching and coaches who are being named into these jobs that are coming open. 2 vacancies left, including the Georgia job. Jeff is a freshman, was at the University of Georgia as a player, is from Roswell, Georgia, and there has been some discussion that he might be one of the candidates to take the Georgia job if offered. So stay in the end zone for a touchback.
Well, Coach Patterson started off as a defensive coordinator. Now he's in charge of the whole thing. Let's take a look at some of the emotions he's going through. First of all, we'll take him here. He does a nice job here, Kirk. You guys watch this one. There's a nice job of clapping coming up. Beep, 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 beep. Did a nice job. We'll show you that one in a second.
Anybody who can clap is all right.
I mean, but you know, he's clapping like a head coach. You know, it takes
a new clap, right?
It's a new clap. I'll show it to you in a second.
I need to see that.
We're building to a big moment here. 1st and 10 now for TCU from the 20. We had a great pace going to the game earlier. Some penalties and timeouts have slowed it down, but I think it's going to pick up with the TCU running attack. There is Tomlinson. No room to roam. Rod Davis on the tackle. 1-yard gain.
As we advertise, we're going to take a look at Coach Patterson. While watch the head coach. See that? A little smile, a head coach.
What's a smile? Is
That's
a smile key?
Now, there's a, hey, he's giving the Seminole chop. Florida State. He's here, the Florida State. And there he goes. Man, this is a tough way to make a living.
What's that? Is it just a...
The smile. The smile and clap is the head coach. Coordinators clap and they go, and then he gave it the Seminole chop, let him know who he's picking in the championship game.
The 2nd and 9 with LaTerrence Dunbar, the sophomore in motion. Sophomore quarterback Printers to the air. Deflected and intercepted by Roy McGee, who's knocked down at the 15-yard line. They've taken one turnover the distance. This one puts them in the red zone. Delroy Stewart up front.
Stewart gets his hand on his football, deflects it right into the hands of McGee. And we talked about this before. Southern Miss could pick up some momentum. The only way they're going to be able to win this game is coming up with interceptions and block kicks and trying to win the game with defense, giving their offense the short field. And here in the first possession, Southern Miss takes over at the 15.
Here's Kelly to Kelby Nance. The running back gains about 6 to the 9-yard line.
Let's go back to the offensive strategy. They come out of the dressing room, they said, let's give it to LT. They give it to him once, throw it to the second time. Anytime you got a great running back, you got to give it to him and give it to him and give it to him. You got to, Kirk, because he gets used to running. Then they can put the pressure on Printers to make a big play, and now they're in trouble.
Again, Mike Schultz, first game, calling the plays. Dennis Francione was the play caller as a head coach. 4 for a first down. 9 for a go-ahead score for Southern Miss. Kelly inside. Touchdown, Leroy Handy. First time tonight, the Golden Eagles on top. Frantana on to add the extra point. He's missed a couple of field goals tonight. No problem with the PAT. Broken scapula kept Handy out the last month of the season, but the sophomore from Mississippi comes up with his 3rd touchdown of the year. Hey, Southern Miss, he's your handyman. School that can count Jimmy Buffett as one of their alums. Leads by a touchdown. After the turnover, Southern Miss sees the offense punch it in with the touchdown. TCU so good in the 3rd quarter all season, allowing just 3 points. Gives up 7 in the first 2 minutes of this 3rd quarter. Well, let's see if the top kickoff return man in the nation can do something here. LaTerrence Dunbar, 33.7 an average, 2 touchdown returns on the season. Will not get his hands on it here. Cedric James instead, with room to run on the near side. They've got an angle on him and take him out of bounds at the 45, but an excellent 41-yard kick return by James. Well, Cedric, the senior, who was yapping a little bit earlier, comes up with this nice return. Let's go along for the ride with the senior from Annandale, Texas, with our cable cam.
He gets some good blocks here, Mike and Lee, but really that's just speed. Once he got to the outside, he just turned it on the afterburners and almost caught the corner.
I'll tell you how fast he was. He outran the cable can. I was watching him. That cable cam was trying to keep up with him. And
right in front of him.
Wow! He took off running right past him, didn't he?
Cable cam had good closing speed,
I
though.
mean, it did.
Yes. 1st and 10, TCU. Excellent field position at the Southern Miss 45. Option.
Look at Scott from behind.
Printers gets about 5 yards. He's marked out at the 40. Able to dance the sideline there. The touchdown put Southern Miss up 7 to Leroy Handy.
Well, they went to an empty set. 5 wide receivers are in the lineup right here. This is backyard football. Watch, freeze it, right there. Always wanted to say that. Leroy Handy right here. He's going to set the corner up, and once he does that, Charlie Owens is beat. Ball is perfectly thrown. It's a timing route, and the quarterback, Jeff Kelly, put the ball away from the defender for the touchdown.
Let me use that freezer.
2nd and 4. After the pickup officially of 6, Terran Williams in motion. George Lane the carry. And Lane gets it close to the first down. And he's got it at the Southern Miss 34.
You know, this is a game for George Lane to kind of show his abilities and springboard him into next season, because he's going to be a back that's going to be able to pick up some yards. He's been a blocker most of this year, but tonight he's catching the ball out of the backfield. He's getting some valuable carries. Lee, you mentioned about LaDainian Thompson. He always seems to fall forward. The same thing can be said about George Lane. He always seems to be falling forward. 6 carries tonight, 25 yards. He also has 3 catches.
Raiders looking for Dunbar. Overthrew him, similar to what Kirk talked about in the first half.
And that's been a strength of Casey Printers this year, the deep ball. He's been pretty effective and pretty accurate with his deep ball. Tonight, that's not been the case. He's had some open people for touchdowns.
Exactly. And that's the 2nd time in that same situation they went deep on 1st down. And what that does do now, after it's incomplete, is it causes a problem with play calling. Now, number 3 gets a good jump on the ball and moves forward. Terrence Dunbar, but the point is now, it's only 2nd down and 10. They've only got to make 5 yards of carry. They should have tried to run the ball, Kirk, and get that guy Tomlinson in it.
You can throw with the corner off by 15 yards. You can throw a curl route, too, out there, Lee.
Printers is Ekton. Wanted a face mask, but no flag came down.
Here's my guy, Cedric Scott, making a few plays there.
One of the key things about the option that is not good for Tomlinson is the defense dictates who runs the football. Now, the Southern Southern Mississippi defense has already indicated they're not going to let them pitch the ball to Tomlinson. If you want to give the ball to Tomlinson, offensive coordinator, hand it to him. Hand it to him, sweetheart, because they're not going to let you pitch it to him.
That's a good point, Lee. You can scheme away the option.
Thank you very much.
And decide who will be the man to carry the load.
And it's not going to be that guy.
3rd and 15. They need to get down to the 24. Printers has a receiver in Dunbar. Got him for the first down at the 11.
The corners are playing very soft, and they're on 3rd and 15. Obviously, they're going to be. Barnes is going to come over and make the play, but he has plenty of room. Look how he turns Barnes around with the route. Dunbar went to the post and then cut to the outside, and the ball is perfectly thrown to the outside for the first down.
That's the 2nd time Printers has thrown the ball better going to his left by squaring his shoulders than by throwing the ball on the right. A right-handed quarterback usually doesn't do that well.
For a pickup of 26, here's LT. Tomlinson thought about bouncing it to the outside, got out to the 7-yard line. A solid first down pickup.
Now remember, they have scored getting to inside the red zone 44 out of 45 times. Right?
Yep.
That's either touchdowns or field goals. Now, if they give the ball to Tomlinson enough, he's going to break a tackle and get in here.
Tomlinson scored 22 touchdowns during the regular season. 2 a game. Tomlinson bouncing left, looking for room. All he sees are gold and black Southern Miss shirts. They say they've got the balls. They come out of the pile with it. Rory McGee had his hands on it.
With TCU going to 2 tight ends, 1 wide receiver, right here, there's one cornerback outside of the boxed area. There are 10 defenders in here. And, Lee, I agree with you. Get the ball to LaDainian Tomlinson. But he could be the best back in college football this year, but even the best back can't break 6 and 7 defenders' tackles.
Agreed.
3rd and 5. First down away to the 2. Option. This time it is Tomlinson. This time it is a touchdown. Right.
Casey Printers come down the line of scrimmage now. Southern Mississippi has taken away the quarterback only this time, and it cost them a touchdown. They should have made the quarterback run the ball into that inside pursuit, Kirk, and it would have been a lot better off.
You're right about that. And the receiver downfield to the play side, the near side, Cedric James locked up on his cornerback and didn't allow him to get off. And by doing that, once he caught the pitch, it was an easy touchdown.
Chris Kalaki on for the extra point. Out of the Mashobel hole. Low to Foghorn. Tie game at 14.
Lee, you mentioned it. Interesting that Southern Miss decided this time to crash Printers. They've been playing cat and mouse with him, forcing him to keep it there. Scott makes him pitch the ball. Once he pitches it to the outside, LaDainian's out there all by himself, gets to block downfield by Cedric James. And that's what you like to see by your receivers. They know when they have to block, and they know with LaDainian Tomlinson behind him, if they can hold on, that LT will take it into the end zone.
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of the 2000 GMAC Mobile Bowl is brought to you by Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers. And by Red Zone from Old Spice. Intense protection for intense people.
Holiday lights decorating Mobile, Alabama. The city gave us full steam ahead. Tomlinson takes TCU to the end zone on that 45-yard drive. Kirk talked about the nice block by Cedric James, who also had the 41-yard kickoff return to give TCU good field position. Both TCU scores good special teams returns. The punt earlier by Field. Both Southern Miss scores turnovers. All tied at 14. Raymond Walls nowhere. Very well covered. Flag is down at the kickoff spot. Could be an offsides. Here's Jerry Punch.
Guys, at halftime, Southern Miss head coach Jeff Power told me he was very pleased with the play on both sides of the football, particularly his defense, but also his offense. His concern, he said, was with holding on to the football. We have had a couple of drop passes we should have held on to. He also talked a little bit about Jeff Kelly's timing, getting the football off a little quicker, trying to get the passes off. If you take a look at Kelly's numbers, 6 of 11 throwing the football tonight for Jeff Kelly, the outstanding quarterback. But just trying to get the timing back, get the ball off a little bit quicker, try to get some of those completions and move the football briskly here in the second half. Michael?
All right, Jerry, you talked earlier about Jeff Bauer and how he was in the locker room. He's telling his kick return team here, guys, we got to break the 10-yard line this time. I mentioned earlier the Georgia job has been mentioned with Jeff Bauer, who's been at Southern Miss for a decade, a former player at Southern Miss. Spoke with Richard Giannini, the athletic director at Southern Miss, right before the ball game, and asked him if Georgia had Georgia had asked for permission to speak with Jeff Bauer. Indirectly, they did about a week ago. Jeff Bauer told us there has been no direct contact between he and Georgia. There have been reports in the Atlanta media that Jeff is supposed to meet with some of the Georgia folks tomorrow. No one would confirm any of that, and trying to nose around as much as possible here today. Certainly Jeff Bauer has a proven track record, but also has deep roots and great loyalty to Southern Miss. Goes from the 30, drops Walls all the way back. Got to come out now. At the 18.
To finish up with the point about Jeff Bauer, also when we talked to him yesterday, he said he had no situation in his contract that would keep him from going to a position like Georgia. You know, some of the guys got such large buyouts now, they can't take jobs. he does not have to. Remember, Kirk, we asked him that? He has no situation like that if a Georgia came along and asked him to come.
That's what we were just talking about, how much of not only his heart and soul and background as a football man is tied into his alma mater. Breaks free. The senior from Hattiesburg in the secondary. All the way to the 29. Curtis Fuller saved the touchdown. We give him 54 yards.
They started to pick up some momentum towards the latter part of the first half, and I think it's carried into the second half. They had the touchdown with the short field, and here just a simple handoff, a zone blocking play, and Nance saw the hole. I think up front, Southern Miss is doing a better job of winning the battle up front, and I'll tell you, Nance, once he got out of the open field, he looked pretty good.
An oft-injured senior who had reconstructive surgery on his knee in '98. Really seeing some sweet moments his last 2 games in black and gold. Now Dwayne Woods comes in and gains only a yard. Terrence Maiden and Sean Worthen led the play, but back to Nance, who had a serious knee injury a couple of years ago. In the season finale, when Dwayne Woods got hurt, he had to come in and ran for 94 yards against East Carolina. But it was a bittersweet day. Final game at home at the Rock. That's what they call Southern Miss's home stadium. He played more than he's played in a couple of years, but it was a loss, a rare home loss for Southern Miss. Chance here to end on a more positive note. Nearly intercepted on 2nd and 11. The linebacker was smelling that, dropping back, and Terrence Maiden almost had a pick.
You guys are talking a lot about Jeff Bauer, and one of the things that I have always admired from afar is the way Southern Miss, you can say, well, they play in Conference USA, but when it comes to their non-conference, sit back and appreciate what they do when they play teams like Florida, Penn State, Texas A&M, Nebraska, Tennessee, Alabama. In an era when people are playing cupcakes, Southern Miss plays anybody, and they'll go to their stadium to play them.
They got Nebraska coming to Hattiesburg. That'll be a nice game.
3rd and 11, middle screen is blown up by Shannon Brazil. Dwayne Woods caught it and met the 2nd leading tackler on this TCU defense, who took him out of field goal range. Perhaps.
Got to be careful on these screens. Sometimes it's kind of he's faking it off to the right. The way it was set up, you could tell Brazil knew exactly what was happening. Probably in man coverage there, just came into the inside and made a nice play.
They're going to try a 49-yard field goal with Brant Hanna, whose career long is 49 against Cincinnati, but he has struggled with 2 misses tonight.
They might get it up the middle again.
That was low, but it's on line and 8 yards short. I mean, that one got through a gap. It was like guards pulled to open a space for that one.
I would say that I would look into the pooch punt, wouldn't you?
That's why I thought they were immediately at field goal range.
Wow.
0 for 3 field goals. Gary Patterson's defense gave up its longest run of the season, but no points. Brant Hanna is struggling thus far here this evening. 49 yards was a long kick, but it's not missing from 49 just because it's slightly offline. The kicks are barely getting above sea level here in the Gulf and Mobile. And Southern Miss has certainly got a field goal kicker without confidence, which is important in a close game. Tied at 14, the first bowl game of the season. Number 5. Danian Tomlinson. Oh, dropped the ball there. It looked like confusion if it was going to be either a play-action pass, but there was nobody out in the route. So it had to be a run, right?
Yeah, I think that was a mix-up. I think LT was thinking play-action pass. It looked like, because it looked like he was kind of carrying out a fake. Let's see, you watch his hands. Yeah, I think he's thinking play-action fake. And then he realizes the ball's on the ground. Lucky he's able to get back there and recover that.
Well, you brought up the stat at the beginning of the show that how many was it? 1 fumble and
369 carries.
One lost fumble.
My friend, that was a mistake of the call.
2nd and 15 after losing 5. This time he's got it. Running with determination to the 40-yard line.
This is his 20th carry of the game tonight, and typically at this point, this is where LT starts to take off. You can tell if you look at the carries, as he gets to about the 21st carry, he's almost averaging 7 yards per carry. So his next time he carries the football will be number 21. So if he can continue the way he's played all year, this is where he should really start to warm up.
That run of 13 was his longest of the night. 37th time this year he's run for more than 13 yards. He's only caught 10 passes. He's out and around here, but on the other side, Kevin Brown took it over midfield for a TCU 11-yard first down.
The reason why that play worked is they put Tomlinson in motion and drove the secondary towards him and hit a nice little quick post on the other side. I like the way Printers threw this ball because he threw it with authority, and that's very good. Now, number 85 made a good play on it because he caught the ball, Kevin Brown, with his hands and then snuggle into it because he's going to get hit real quick.
First and 10. TCU looking for a go-ahead drive here. Option Tomlinson. Nowhere to run. Leo Barnes, who had a 50-yard interception for touchdown earlier, forced him out of bounds. January 3rd, the Bowl Championship Series title game. The FedEx Orange Bowl, #1 Oklahoma, BCS #2 Florida State. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan will bring it to you January 3rd in primetime on ABC, your home for the Bowl Championship Series. Lee Kirk and Chris will be there all weekend.
It took Josh Heupel 12 games to finally let his guard down and put it, relax and have some fun.
Yeah.
And
That's a great shot.
It's seen everywhere.
That's a great shot.
And he did it for 2 seconds, too.
Printers is pumping. Now looking deep and on a route. Dunbar got behind the secondary, but they recovered nicely.
Dunbar has that kind of speed where you just want to get rid of the football as a quarterback as quickly as possible, throw it as high in the air and as far down the field as possible. Look at this speed. I mean, you can just tell that he can go. And if the ball has been able to throw to the outside, he probably would have had a little bit of a better chance, at least to fight for it.
Eric Pruitt, the defensive back, made a very, very good reaction play to that. That wasn't his man. He saw him going wide. That's why he got back to knock that play down.
Got it, Lee. Saved that play. 3rd and 10. They've been terrific on 3rd down tonight. 7 of 10. Printers using Brown again for the first down. Kevin Brown has come up with a couple of big catches on this drive for first downs. That's his 3rd catch of the game. And here's Jerry Punch.
Well, TCU beginning to move the football, guys, and one of the reasons may be that big defensive tackle for Southern Miss, DeQuincy Scott, out for the rest of the night. I spoke to Doug Rouse a moment ago. Team orthopedic surgeon DeQuincy, a non-displaced fracture of his right ulna, right at the elbow. There's DeQuincy Scott, the big 265-pound defensive tackle, out for the night, non-displaced, broken arm at the right elbow.
Okay, Jerry, they have some depth up there, but they'll certainly miss Scott. Option Tomlinson left. Room. LT in the clear. Damian Tomlinson hung on to the ball and scores.
Okay.
LT over 100 yards. Chris Kalaki on for the extra point. That one through there. Boy, they're getting a push up the middle, both sides.
We just mentioned that LaDainian Tomlinson, right about this point in the game, the 21st carry is when he takes over. Surprising, again, that Southern Miss playing a little bit of cat and mouse, but look at the blocks downfield by 38 George Lane, the receivers downfield, and of course LT breaking tackles, would-be tacklers coming up too high in his upper body, and he showed the kind of strength that he has.
The reason why that play worked for TCU is that Southern Mississippi went away from its plan was to make Printers run the football. Now, if you watch that play again, as the Printers comes down the line of scrimmage, the defensive end is playing cat and mouse. Forget about it. Take LaDainian Tomlinson out of the play like they did at the beginning of the ball game, and what happens? He scores. But you got to take that guy out of the game.
And watch, I said it during the play,
Yeah.
Tomlinson hangs on to the ball. He almost lost the ball on the way in.
It actually went up in the air.
Yes. And reacted, you can see almost the panic in his body to kind of jump back and get his mitts on it.
We heard about it, we've seen film on it, and I think LT would be the first one to give credit to Terrence Dunbar, number 3, the receiver, Tim Maiden, number 4. It's impressive to see receivers block for that long downfield. You just don't see that very often, and I think running backs obviously appreciate that because that's when they can pick up the big gains.
Southern Miss cannot force themselves into bad field position with another poor kickoff return. It's hurt them all night. Better off taking a touchback because TCU's covering kicks like nobody's business.
Now let's watch this, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. You see the outside man, he came in to get the quarterback, but he took out and didn't take the quarterback and made him pitch the ball. If you see the inside, take away the pitch man and make the quarterback run it. They did that for the entire first half, and all of a sudden they get cute. And when they get cute, that guy's going to beat you.
People that questioned his ability to break tackles and if he's legit, keep in mind this defense is very, very good. And they just bounced off him once he picked up his momentum and started to run downhill.
Kelvin Nance back as the lone back. And a big run early. Kelly will run with it. Get 8 yards before being nudged out of bounds by Kenneth Hilliard. There's so many stats for a man who's gained over 5,000 career yards and has seen the end zone so often. But impressive the distance of the touchdowns that he has scored. As you look at the ones from 11 through 20 down, 22 of his 54 touchdowns coming in here, and that run of 33 yards goes down there in that bottom quadrant.
And 10 of those 12 were over 63 yards or more.
Again, he said this at the Heisman ceremony. He mentioned it again to me tonight when I was talking to him about, is it vision, is it power, is it speed? And he talked about all three, and he said, when it comes to my speed, remember now, I've never been caught from behind. Never been caught from behind. So I think that says a lot about how once he gets to the open field, he does have that speed, especially people that question that for the next level.
Killed the feature at halftime as well on Tomlinson. 2nd and 3 throw is incomplete for Sean Mills on that near sideline. LaDainian Tomlinson 4th in the Heisman running. You know, Texas has put out a few good running backs as a state.
Grew up watching the Cowboys from Texas. You know, that's what we did on Sundays. Sit down in front in the living room in front of the TV and watch the Cowboys and watch Tony Dorsett run. And then it came Emmett. So, you know, it was just everybody that was affiliated with the Cowboys we used to watch.
As a high school performer, easy to get excited by those guys. Kelly underneath pass is caught as a flag came down as well. Mills working underneath, made the grab. In first down yardage at the 34, but let's check if the flag's on TCU for a defensive hold. Or perhaps pass interference. Ooh, offensive personal foul for a face mask.
You mentioned all those numbers about LT. You know, the thing, he's only played tailback, organized football tailback position for 3 years. His senior year in high school. And then because Basil Mitchell was here and he was very effective, they asked him to move to fullback. And then the last 2 years, he's played tailback. So he's still really learning the position.
I also think I come from the school of thought that a back has a certain number of carries in his life. You know, if you feed a guy a whole bunch, if he's been carrying the ball.
Offense. Half the distance from the spot of the penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
From back in his high school days, and then was a workhorse 4 years in college. When he gets to the NFL, he may run down a little bit quicker. Maybe not with a guy like Tomlinson, who has, as Rodney Gilmore was mentioning at halftime, the thickness to take some of the physical as well as that speed that you just mentioned again. Well, Jeff Bauer not very satisfied. He's not getting an answer as to who the face mask penalty was on that puts Southern Miss in a huge offensive hole. Bauer signals in the offensive plays.
Referee mentioned repeat second down, and pretty sure it's third down.
It is 3rd and 18. 3 receivers, 1 back, and TCU causing confusion. Be very careful here, boys. Kelly looking long and middle. Veal was sitting on it and couldn't get it before Kenneth Johnson, the wide receiver. And the pass falls incomplete.
LeVar Veal, number 11, is 6'5", 187 from San Antonio. And the thing I like about this, Kirk and Mike, is his closing speed. Watch, he turns around. Now watch right there. The reason why he makes that good play is because his ability to close on the ball, and that's the sign of a good defensive back.
And now Veal is back to accept Mark Hallman's punt. Field position, which was the problem in the first half, is again in the second half. Big rush, and Hallman just gets it away. It didn't go very far. I don't even know if perhaps a TCU player got a slight...
I think they got some.
The way the ball went up, it looked like one of those whirly birds. And now the long touchdown run, the penalty, and the special teams again put TCU in great position.
Gary Patterson looks pretty confident. He looks good. He got the clap down and the smile.
Push up the middle again here.
Right up the middle. Actually came from every direction, but it looked like number 7 got in there and was able to knock it up into the air a little bit higher.
Brandon Hassel back up quarterback spot. Deep down on the TCU depth chart. A golden opportunity here to take a 2-touchdown lead and turn that over to the nation's toughest defense to score on. Brenner's pass is caught at the 30-yard line. Just about a 4-yard pickup for Tim Maiden. Well, another edition of the Classic Roadshow on ESPN Classic. Mile High Stadium in Denver. Final game on Saturday and starts Friday at 9 Eastern. John Elway among the numerous greats, revisiting memories of Mile High, hosting its last game this weekend. Call 1-800-CLASSIC for your local cable operator or satellite provider and demand ESPN Classic. The Roadshow last week in Pittsburgh was terrific with memories of Three Rivers. Same true this week at Mile High. 2nd and 6 from the 30. Printers keeping on the option. They took away Tomlinson that time. Printers had a first down if he didn't slip down. 3rd and a couple coming up.
Southern Miss making the adjustments. They were doing a better job of it in the first half. But if you're Casey Printers, you obviously don't have the breakaway speed and the ability to run. But if all you need to do is pick up 7 here, pick up 8, pick up 5, try to pick up some yardage on the option, then it's still an effective play.
Casey Printers really improved. This year he had 265 yards rushing. Last year, minus 69.
Much more mobile.
For the whole year.
He's even a little bit stronger this year in the upper body.
Added over 100 pounds to his bench, and a smart quarterback. Dennis Francione said one of the smartest quarterbacks he's been around in his quarter-century of coaching, and he's just a sophomore. Played as a freshman last year and saw something that wasn't just quite right. So stops the clock. 2:16 left. 3rd quarter. Twitter, well-connected storyline. Tomlinson over 100. Kelby Nance a long run for Southern Miss, but it did not end up in success. Southern Miss has seen TCU turn it over twice, made the most of it both times, but 3 missed field goals. Better special teams play. I would say the headline reasons that TCU leads Southern Miss by 7.
Especially the special teams.
3rd and 3, needing to get to the 24. The option keep. Printers the first down to 21. I see a coach and a quarterback who've been around option football a good part of their life, shaking their head up and down. They like that. decision.
Outstanding, and he's starting to feel that the defense is going to try to take LT away, and it gives him a chance to just cut it underneath, a fake pitch, cut it underneath, and picks up the first down.
Now, Southern Mississippi, if they're going to do that, they're going to have better support from the secondary, because what they do is they take the end and take away Tomlinson. The strong and free safety have got to come up and take the quarterback. That's where the mistake is being made right now. The secondary from Southern Miss is not filling.
Fill that alley, you know, and also the linebackers scraping.
He's looking for James. James goes into the bushes, into the fence, just eludes the Froghorn, and comes back for second down. There's that Froghorn. Blow it after every TCU touchdown.
Maybe strong.
Like that. That'd be nice. Get that for your holiday gift.
Casey Printers is having a hard time throwing the ball deep left and right. And I think the reason why, Kirk, is he's not setting his feet. If you notice that time, he threw it off his front foot, kind of like off balance. If he get more balance, I think he'd become a better passer.
Well, that's one of the things they need him to work on, the mechanics in the next 2 years.
Using Tomlinson as a decoy. Finds a man to the 10, made, and the flag came down right about where the quarterback was rolling out, which would lead you to start sniffing holding.
Yes. And that happens a lot, Mike, when a quarterback starts to break off and the linemen try to reach back and grab their guys and bring them down because they don't know where the quarterback's going, and they try to bring the guy down. That's where the holding comes about.
The referee stood there for a couple of seconds after that call because Jeff Bauer was saying thank you for that call. That's a veteran head coach clapping. That's kind of saying,
that's a
good job, guys. You got one right. Joining us late, game one for Gary Patterson as the head coach. Took over for Dennis Francione, now at Alabama. His TCU team leads by 7. On the inside, 2nd and 20 give. Will give us 3rd and 18 as Tomlinson can only gain a couple.
Depending on if they want to try to put this in better range for a field goal, but if they have to throw the football downfield, they've had some success with the Terrence Dunbar and trying to get him to the outside, working to the outside in man coverage. But getting ready to get into the 4th quarter, chance to possibly go up 10 points. Maybe they elected to give the ball to LT to get a field goal.
One thing I have noticed, they haven't thrown the ball to LT much. He had 40 catches coming in this ball game. I would throw the ball to LT somehow and let it run the open field.
Oh, another timeout burned here.
Bad.
In the 3rd quarter.
Let me tell you what's bad about that. 3rd and 18, you don't waste the timeout you're going to need later on in the ball game, my friends. Forget about it.
They've been very good on 3rd down this year, or this week. As you saw, 9 of 12, 5 of 5 in this quarter. Printers, a sophomore quarterback, has a new play caller, as we mentioned earlier. So much upheaval for TCU. And we should mention one of the reasons Gary Patterson has this job are the 26 seniors on this team. This team wanted Patterson to be the head coach here at TCU.
I'm impressed with his ability to stay cool over the sideline. Kirk, you met with him when I met with him. I think he's got some of the things that you look at as a head coach. He's determined, he's focused, but he's got a little sense of humor, too.
He does have a sense of humor, and anymore today, you need to have that as a head coach. But I love the way his players seem to respect him, and it was unanimous. When Dennis Francione got the job to move on to Alabama to a man, they all pointed to Gary Patterson. And he said it was kind of interesting because he was kind of one of the coordinators that was strict. He would lay the hammer down and be the enforcer, and he still was impressed that his players looked at him as definitely being the guy.
Interesting thing he said to us is that many of the offensive players, including Casey Printers, stood up for him, and he didn't even know those guys, basically.
Being the defensive coordinator.
Defensive player.
Well, this senior class has seen so much upheaval, going from 1 and 10 to 10 and 1. This coaching change, being a smooth transition, is what they deserve as they go out for their final game. They've laid the foundation for this program to continue to succeed. Off the corner comes the pressure. Printers can't get away, and now they're out of field goal range. Roy McGee made the play.
It might be the best thing that ever happened to him. You know why? Because McGee comes and gets him, and now they got to punt it. Because if they had a place kick it, they probably blocked it and took off.
But for a young quarterback, and with the new rule in college football, and he'll learn this when he looks at the film, once he gets to the outside, he could have thrown it up here to you, Lee, and he would have been better off than taking a sack and taking him out of field goal range under normal circumstances.
Under normal
I know the weather here, but I don't think he purposely thought, you know what, I'm going to take a sack.
I think it was a good strategy on his part. Take a sack so they can punt it.
Get at it.
TCU scores twice as we are at the end of the third quarter. LT at 52 in the first half. In the third quarter, he got going. Alabama, the GMAC Mobile, Alabama Bowl. We start the fourth quarter. TCU by 7. Your team better win if you're going to wear that. Time for a punt for the barefooted kicker, John Brazil, on a night when the temperature is dipped to 32, a very rare cold night. Oh, they got the kick, but a flag was down. It's been a special teams adventure tonight.
Nightmare.
The kicking units have not done well. The coverage units have been outstanding, mostly not from coverage, but the rush.
The kicking units have been lousy.
That's accurate also.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5 yards. The down remains 4.
They might have gone half speed after they heard the whistle.
Southern Miss has come close a lot on this kicker, and I think it's because he takes too long. He takes the ball, looks like he spins it around and takes his time getting his toe ready or something.
They'll reset the clock to 15 minutes. Clock should not have run, as that foul was a pre-play foul.
You guys watch his mechanics on this one and see.
Ettrick Pruitt ready to take a charge at it. Had nice coverage earlier. Well, the kicker, Brazil, is a freshman who's only become the punter here because of injury earlier in the season to the starting punter, broke his leg. So Brazil, who had a shoulder injury and was not able to kick with the team in September, was cleared and ended up earning his time. You see the gentleman right behind him on the sideline there with a stopwatch in his hand. That's special teams coach. Gotta live by that stopwatch. Just get the kickoff in time. Waiting and watching and hoping he doesn't see it come back towards him. There he gets that one off.
Nice and quick.
John Brazil's kick is not as effective and will go out of bounds at the 19. At the end of the third quarter, Jerry spoke with the new TCU head coach, Gary Patterson.
Well, Coach, 3 quarters as a head coach. Assess your football team thus far tonight.
Well, you know, missed opportunities, but we got a chance. You know, defensively, we've done a real good job of playing in the red zone. They've got out there. We let one run get by, but, you know, we'll just make sure we don't give up the big play, tackle, and offense. If we can go ahead and get a couple more opportunities and get at least 3 points on the board, you're going to have a chance to win this time.
How has it been for you, I mean, trying to be a defensive coordinator and run the whole show?
Well, it really hasn't been much different. Again, you know, good coaches, players, they know what's going on, and they know where the role is. So I just been trying to stay out of their way.
Thanks, Coach.
First down run for Kelby Nance, 3 yards. Stuart Ashley, a senior from Katy, Texas, made the tackle. Senior on that defensive front for TCU, along with Sean Worthen and Aaron Schobel, who's been somewhat muted by the Southern Miss offensive front tonight. TCU defense, toughest to score on in the nation, 9.6 points per game. And really, the offense has only given up 7, and that was on a 15-yard drive. The other score was an interception return. Kelly has 5 receivers in there now. TCU rushes 5. Off the corner, they got Kelly. Well, he got the pass away, and it was incomplete. Chad McCarty on one side, Robert Pollard on the other.
Robert Pollard came from the top of the screen and came from the back side of Jeff Kelly. And he had 2 sacks this year. He's got outstanding athletic ability. And if you look at what TCU does on defense, they rely a lot on their front. And next year, they have 4 redshirt freshmen, Robert Pollard being one of them, Bo Schobel, Donald Burrell, Chad Pugh, who will take over next year. And I don't think they're going to miss a beat next year on that front.
And McCarty dropping coverage stays as well for some leadership and experience. They need to get to the 30 for a first down. Using the tight end, Bobby Garner, they get there at the 32. Nice throw by Kelly, who's from Alabama. Big game for him here tonight in his home state.
Nice throw, but let me tell you something. This is sensational hands. Bobby Gardner's a former quarterback. Watch the way he looked that ball right into his hands and kept his eyes right on it. The pass was terrific, but that ex-quarterback did a tremendous job of focusing in on the point of the football.
The last time he played in this stadium, it was as the quarterback for Mississippi against Alabama in the state high school all-star game between those 2 states. Kelby Nance, 2 yards. Pollard, who had the defensive pressure 2 snaps ago.
Just the rotation again from TCU. They have 5 new defensive players coming in. A lot of them up, 4 of them on the defensive front. Again, going back to trying to keep people fresh. That's one of the luxuries that this defense has had all year long, and it's worked out for them.
I just saw one of the assistant coaches on the sideline as Pollard was coming off. Just reminded me, it's their last quarter at TCU. So the assistant coaches here are like the seniors. This is their final way to kind of go out with a good taste in their mouth from the TCU experience. 2nd and 9. Steps up against the 4-man rush, but can't get away. That is Bo Schobel who made the play. Bo, one of the freshmen Kirk mentioned.
I don't want to beat this to death, but this is usually the point in the game where you see teams that are able to have a lot of depth and rotate a lot of people in. They start to have an advantage because they're still playing at, let's say, energy level 9 or 10, where the team on the other side's maybe down at 7 or 8.
Another 3rd down. This is 3rd and 9. There's Bo's cousin, the senior Aaron, ready to come off the corner. Too much time. This TCU defense got it done in so many different ways this season. In the opener against Nevada, they had 15 sacks. Against Damian Anderson of Northwestern, held them to 90 yards.
Prior to snap, delay of game, offense, 5 yards. The down remains 3rd.
I think when they did that at that point in the season, it was just kind of mixed in with the rest of the scores that week. When you look back at it, that's really an impressive number.
41-14 when all is said and done, and there are the numbers tonight. They're holding the Southern Miss offense in check. Remember, 54 of those 163 yards, or almost exactly 1/3, came on the run by Kelby Nance in the last quarter. 5 receivers. Will they bring heat with 5? No, they rush 4. McKelly has some space to throw it. On the run. Oh, a great job of in traffic the catch for the first down, but a marker's down back at the line of scrimmage.
Past the line. Quarterback Kelly scrambling, just went a little bit too far there.
Line of scrimmage was the Southern Miss side of the 30-yard line. Yeah, that carries loss of down with it. Sean Mills made the catch in traffic. Accurate throw on the run, gained 20 yards. But there's the yard line, just about the 29.
Yep, about the 29-yard line. Both Bo Schobel and Aaron Schobel get in there. He's well across. Right there, he steps right across, about 1.5 yards, almost 2 yards across the line of scrimmage.
So the punting unit will come on as it carries loss of down with it. Accounting major is working on his MBA. Earned his undergraduate degree in 3 years. Rod Coleman set to kick. Coleman's done a nice job tonight driving Field back to the 25. Room up the middle of our field. Slipped and fell. And really had a chance to make that something special. LaDainian Tomlinson back on the field after an 18-yard punt return. TCU leading by 7.
Welcome to my
fans are still enjoying some snacks here in Mobile. They're loading up. Must be getting ready to take that to our production truck. Our producer Tim Corrigan, director Mike Schwab, and the rest of the crew can pile it away with the best of them. Happy
as long
holidays.
as it's free, they can.
First and 10 for the 43. TCU up 7, and LaDainian Tomlinson carries and pushes the pile forward for about 5 yards. There's been a lot of pushing and shoving the last couple of plays after the whistle. Things start winding down here. 11:11 to go in the first of the 25 bowl games this season, the 2000 GMAC Mobile, Alabama Bowl. Glad People's Stadium, where the postseason will end as well with the Senior Bowl in a month. But this is the first bowl. The crowd is thinned out because of a very unseasonably cold night. They have come to see LaDainian Tomlinson get over 100 yards.
Have that feeling, like you said earlier, that he's going to get out on a long one before the night's over. He's wearing this defense out.
Given to Tomlinson, stopped at midfield. Ron Davis and John Nix in on the tackle. We have a third down coming up here for a Southern Miss defense that is in need of a big play.
This is the situation where TCU has been running the option play. And Printers is coming down the line and making a pretty good decision. As you mentioned before, he cuts it in there for a first down. That's all he needs, about 5 yards.
Sure.
It's a nice time to do the option right now.
You have to believe Southern Miss is thinking, if you're a safety, fill the alley.
Yep.
Don't let Printers keep it if they run option. If he keeps it, make sure he's short of the first down.
Right.
Straight hand. Tomlinson, nope. Roy McGee made the stop. You know, for Tomlinson's success here tonight, guys, over 100 yards, he's carried the ball 26 times. 15 times, Southern Miss has held him to 3 or fewer yards. Dave Womack, the defensive coordinator, has a very good bunch, second in the country in yards allowed per game, and they should be very proud of their effort here tonight. There is Dave, 7 years, an assistant here at Southern Miss. Forces another punt for the barefooted freshman walk-on Brazil. But again, Southern Miss needs to make a big play happen to flip the field a little bit. They are fighting the field position mountain all night. Shaky, fair catch, but successful by Kenneth Johnson, the freshman. Well, we mentioned 25 bowl games. You'll see some big teams and some big stars on ESPN. Bowl Week presented by Capital One. Brings you 12 games in 9 days on both networks, ESPN and ESPN2, starting Christmas Eve and concluding on New Year's morning with the Big Ten SEC showdown between Ohio State and South Carolina. Bowl Week on ESPN and ESPN2, presented by Capital One. Kelly in the offense, back to it for Southern Miss from their own 23, trailing by 7. Looking to get a receiver deep, and a man broke wide open, but he was sacked. Oh. John Turntine gets his second sack of the season. A receiver broke absolutely free.
Kenneth Johnson.
Oh, my goodness. Here's the breakdown on Bowl Week. You'll see teams from every conference, 6 conference champs. Don Nealon and George Welsh, retiring head coaches, we'll see in their finale. South Carolina, Northwestern, dream seasons. Will they come to an end successfully? You'll see the Huskers, the Buckeyes, and we'll see the Longhorns of Texas in the Holiday Bowl. After a loss of 5 in the sack, Kelly under duress again, turns it upfield. Got to the 30-yard line. It's going to be 4 short of a first down. Third and a long 3 coming up. Again, that defensive rotation, Turntine hasn't seen much of the field in the first half.
Is this 3rd and 3 or is it 3rd and 4? I mean, this is a
you have a problem at the upper part of the screen.
Yeah, the top part of the screen there.
Down markers.
Yeah, it's tough to figure out because the stick is about a yard short of the pylon for some reason. Interesting. That's the first time we've seen that all year.
Put it with the quick stick in the Mountain West in somebody else's stocking. Long attempt for Kenneth Johnson. That's got to be a flag, and it is. Pass interference is called. Kenneth Hilliard says our feet got tangled, sir.
Now, Kenneth Hilliard has a legitimate gripe here because two receivers going down the field and they trip each other up. If it isn't intentional, I think it is an pass interference. Let's take a look and see if it's intentional. Right here, I'm not so sure. From up here, I didn't think he legitimately had pass interference. What do you think after looking at that one, Kirk?
It looked like, you mentioned, their feet kind of got tangled up there.
First look, I agree with you. As opposed to me.
Yeah. That's a kind of a iffy call. An iffy call, especially on third down, to give a chance for a team to win a football game.
First down, Southern Miss. Zone 44. Play action. Three receivers looking deep, and a man breaks one open. It's Handy. Leroy Handy. Tying touchdown with an extra point. Wow, how things change.
The pass interference call was on third down, and I just said gave him a chance to win the ball game, correct?
Yes, you did.
Thank you. And as a coach, that will kill you, particularly Gary Patterson, who's in his first game.
Grant Hanna on for the extra point. Field goals have been stressful. Extra points have been just fine. Jeff Barrow won't even blink. Tie game at 21, halfway through the fourth quarter.
You can see why they've missed Leroy Handy this year. Play action fake. Look at 18 move to the inside. It opened up the running lane for the receiver Handy, and then he shows the speed to take the ball to the end zone.
N2's exclusive presentation of the 2000 GMAC Mobile Bowl is presented by the city of Mobile, Alabama. 300 years of America, and in part by 1-800-COLLECT, the easy way to save.
The Old South in great form here in Mobile, Alabama. All tied at 21. I am a firm believer, as you see Kelly, who threw the touchdown, made the most of the opportunity for Southern Miss, a firm believer that the early bowl games set the tone for the bowl season. And with good matchups on the landscape for the next 2 weeks, I think we've set the foundation for a fun couple of weeks for college football fans. Yes, a playoff would be nirvana, but just enjoy the games and put the playoff junk away for a couple of weeks. Dunbar, best in the nation, brings it out. Terrence Dunbar got out to the 30. It's almost like Southern Miss was numb, thinking it was going to be a touchback.
I'm going to show you why this play worked. Now, keep your eye on Chris Fuller right there, and he's right in there. This man's going to come down and go, and he's going to bite on him, and this guy's going to go right by him. Freeze it! I didn't freeze it right, but that's okay. Now, Kirk, take it from there.
Well, it's a mix-up in coverage. Very simple. The Fuller, the safety, thought it was man,
exactly.
and clearly they weren't on the same page because Russell Gary stayed up tight.
Yeah.
And after the catch by Handy, you know, he was all alone behind coverage, and he just simply outran everybody to the end zone.
Tight tie game halfway through, fourth quarter. They'll feed the horse. Tomlinson, nothing. John Nix, 6'3", 290 senior, Loosedale, Mississippi, made the tackle. Now possessions are precious. Maybe 2 more for TCU, perhaps 1 more for Southern Miss. Receivers Dunbar and Brown come in. 1 receiver and a fullback go out.
This is where Mike Schultz says his first game as a play caller really gets tested because you still want to be aggressive. You have to be careful being too conservative as a play caller with 6.5 minutes to go with this game tied.
The option was going very well for a while. They've gone away from it. There he comes.
They're out there.
Printers used the fake of the pitch to just get it back past the line of scrimmage. 3rd and long coming up.
See, they will take printers running the option, especially wide, as opposed to faking the pitch and cutting underneath the speed of the defense, because this defense can fly, and by him as a quarterback simply trying to stretch the defense, he doesn't have the speed to be able to outrun him to the corner. He needs to fake that pitch and cut underneath or pitch the football, one or the other.
39, predominant Southern Miss crowd makes noise. Printers threw it away. 4th down, punt. Momentum advantage, Golden Eagles.
One play has turned this football game around. 3rd down and 6. Questionable pass interference has put Southern Mississippi back into the ballgame.
Their defense has done its job, forcing TCU 3 and out, back-to-back possessions. John Brazil kicks to Kenneth Johnson. 14-yard average this year for Johnson. A rush up the middle, and they almost got there. Johnson for the 37. 1 yard, that's it. Very well covered by Walls. The cornerback who gets set to see some Southern Miss passing, because they threw the ball in the last drive with success, had receivers breaking open, and a receiver was breaking open here, but a questionable feet-tangled pass interference gave Southern Miss a chance to tie the game. They took advantage of it. The tranquility of the holiday season put aside for the next few moments here. Tie football game with 5.5 to go. First down run out of bounds, but a very good pickup out to the 46-yard line. 2nd and 3 coming up. Without Derek Nix for the second half of this season, Southern Miss's running game stuttered at times, but it's been good tonight. Against Gary Patterson's defense, Southern Miss has run for 128 yards. TCU only gave up 85 per game. 2nd and 2. Nance will move the chains forward with a 1st down. TCU representing conference, the WAC, I should say, tonight for the final time in football. Next year, both of these schools will be in Conference USA, and they will meet in the regular season. Southern Miss. Conference
USA is looking to expand. It looks like either they're going to go to a 12 team, either the United States Naval Academy or the University of Central Florida. So if they go to the 12 teams, then they can have that championship game and have 2 divisions, which I think is a tremendous idea for Conference USA.
Mike Sly, the commissioner, has done an outstanding job. We'll be seeing more of Conference USA on ESPN. Very good teams in this league as well. Kelby Nance across midfield into the 48-yard line. Chris Selfo and Tulane come to mind. You have Memphis with Tommy West taking over there now as the head coach. UAB, some very good defenses in this league. Louisville, conference champions this year, one of the half-dozen bowl-eligible teams. 4 teams in the top 15 NCAA total defense. And the cynic would say that means the offenses are bad. They've gone out of conference and played people like Alabama and Tennessee. 2nd and 8. Back to the other side, the tight end is open. Bobby Garner. Pushed out of bounds at the 25-yard line. 1st down and momentum for Southern Miss. 23 on that play. Chad Bear got fooled.
That was just a simple delay. The thing that Bobby Garner does is he lines up on the right side, acts like he's doing a little bit of a chip block to help seal the end, and then slips out into the backside. Kind of reminded me of an old Syracuse play down inside when they used to get inside the red zone.
Inside the 20.
Love to go to that delayed tight end.
Freeze option to the right, tight end to the other side. Now they're looking downfield. Kelly saw one receiver get covered, put his head down, got across the 20. Ball was down on the ground when it came out. They're getting 1st down yardage here in good chunks.
I would recommend strongly trying to score a touchdown.
Why is that, sir?
Grant Hanna has not done very well.
He's had a rough
But you know
night.
what? Poetic justice. Mark this down.
It's a
Mark this
holiday
down.
season.
The last game, bowl game, he hasn't kicked one 3 feet yet. He's going to make one. He's going to make one to win the game.
Lee, there's his problem. He warms up without his helmet on.
Well, plus he has no room to warm up.
Let's help the guy here. 2 and 4. Nance got to the 15. A good hit for the first down. For the senior Kelby Nance.
Speaking of Brent Hanna, our people bring you a package. Here it comes. You ready?
Scrapping. Here we go.
Watch this way. Andy. Let's try another one.
That one
Wait, watch
got
this
up in the air.
I do. And here's the other one. Andy. And watch what. No. Well, watch it. The guy, Brent Hanna, is going to kick a field goal to
He
win
may
this
not
game.
have to, the way this offense is moving the ball right now.
No, they're going to stop him. He's going to have to kick a field goal to win it.
It's all right.
All right.
He'll be ready.
He'll be ready.
Nance gains about nothing on that carry inside the 3-minute mark. What a night for Kelby Nance, guys. 104 yards, reconstructive knee surgery. Took him out a couple of years ago, sitting behind a man who gained 1,000 yards in his last 2 seasons, Derek Nix, sitting behind Dwayne Woods, who gained 7,000 yards in his high school career. This guy thought his career was done. Nix out for the season. Woods an ankle injury. Nance gains 90-plus yards in the last regular season game. 100 in his final college game tonight.
Great way for Nance to go out, but don't forget about that offensive line. They have played exceptionally well, especially considering that's been the Achilles heel for this offense all year. They have stepped up tonight.
Just a yard there, and now 3rd and long. TCU using a timeout to retain some time for the offense at 2:20 to go.
This is what I was talking about, strategy and tactics. Now, Coach Patterson has to start making decisions as a head coach for the first time. Jeff Bowers has made them. He hasn't. Let's see what happens here in the clutch. Interesting, isn't it?
GMAC has joined with the city of Mobile.
Warm on the sideline. They want to see him run it, not throw it. He was sacked trying to throw his only pass against Arkansas State this year, but he just wants to get his hands back on the ball. He's had a good night, playing the best defense he's played in the last 2 years. Got 100 yards. 3rd down. They show tight formation.
Look at a special.
Wrinkle time.
Look out. Watch out.
It's a legal play if enough players are on the line of scrimmage.
You know what they did?
They try to get TCU to flinch.
Exactly. They didn't blink, and it's timeout.
So Southern Miss has 2 timeouts left. TCU none. Gary Patterson one side, and the other side Jeff Bauer. Both coaches who took over their team for the first time as a head coach in bowl games. Bauer in '90 here at Southern Miss. Patterson here tonight. And as soon as that play happened, Lee, you yelled special. That's one of those things, one of those special plays you put in for each game each week.
What you try to do is just maybe get a tricky play like punt Ruski from Florida State. Usually it doesn't work. But I tell you what I've been impressed with is both teams have not given up tonight.
Right. They're fighting on both sides, and it's one of those games where I think TCU was tested early to find out how they would step up to a challenge, because let's face it, for the most part, they've been able to go through their schedule and dominate games, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Tonight, that has not been the case, and they've continued to fight it. Southern Miss got a break with the pass interference call, and they've capitalized on that, so both teams continue to fight throughout this entire game.
It's been an exciting bowl game, and for the 2nd year of this GMAC Mobile, Alabama Bowl, it's certainly a bowl that has found a niche for itself with an affiliation with Conference USA, and getting a player like Tomlinson, 4th in the Heisman, top running back in the country this year. Deuce McAllister would have challenged him for that, but McAllister at Ole Miss, up the road a few hours in Oxford, was injured. So the fans have driven the 97 miles from Hattiesburg. Keeping warm. From here, it would be a 31-yard field goal attempt. They'd like to get the first down. 4 receivers, blitz coming. Incomplete. Danny Fowler laid out. Couldn't get there, and so it falls on the shoulders of Brant Hanna.
Can I give you some stats?
Go get him, Lee.
Get him.
Empty it
Grant
out, Coach.
Hanna, before tonight, was 12 for 18, which is not bad.
Good.
He's had 0 for 3. He hasn't kicked one over the center's head yet.
Sophomore year, he kicked the game-winning field goal against Louisville with 1:07 left to win the conference title and send this team to the Liberty Bowl. This might be a game winner. There's still a lot of time left. From 31, no good.
I'd say nothing. Well, all I can tell you is that...
This reminds me of your golf game.
No.
This is your golf game.
I'll guarantee you one thing. Tiger Woods doesn't take this much of a divot any time in a game. Watch him. He hits the left foot. Plant foot is good.
Now, be careful here.
Now, be careful.
Lots coming
right
up here.
there. And... that, I told you he wouldn't get over the center's head. He almost hit the center in the butt, which would have been the lowest.
Gary Patterson, he lives to see a chance to win the game. And LaDainian Tomlinson and company get back on the field. 80 yards to go. It comes out to the 20 because the line of scrimmage is the 15. There's a run for the fullback lane. 7 to the 27. Inside of 2 minutes for the next snap. TCU out of timeouts, but not out of hope after LT saw the field goal come up low. They got one more chance, maybe the last time he's coming onto the field for a drive in his college career.
Not so fast, my friend. He'll be back for overtime.
I said maybe.
Oh, Hannah's got to get his head
They will
up.
not score in 137, but they're going to overtime.
Not so fast. The 26. LT can break a big one
Not
at any
tonight.
moment. Popped outside. Dale Roy Stewart made the tackle. Third down coming up. And again, TCU's inability to stop the clock could send us to the third overtime in a bowl game.
Really?
Yeah, last year we had a couple. The Outback Bowl with Georgia and Purdue on New Year's morning on ESPN. And then well after midnight, the FedEx Orange Bowl, Michigan and Alabama in that great one. One at the end on a Wolverine field goal, believed by Hayden Epstein, 35-34 over Alabama.
You see, TCU is actually playing to go to overtime.
Got to get a first down here, 3rd and 1. Didn't get the playoff, delay a game.
That'll hurt you a little bit. That'll test you as a head coach.
And Southern Mississippi has almost blocked all the punts.
That's what I was thinking.
You thinking the same thing?
3rd and 1.
Delay of game. Offense 5 yards. The down remains 3rd. Please reset the clock to 49. 4-9.
The microphone has finally started working for the referee tonight.
Make some noise. There's only 42 seconds left in the game.
Cheerleaders are staying fired up down here for Southern Miss.
They're just trying to stay warm.
That's it. Get them going.
That's it. What's that UCLA
Every man,
guy?
woman, and child, get up. We need you here.
UCLA, remember that one?
UCLA, they only cheer on 3rd down. They only pull for the fans on 3rd down out there.
You think we're kidding you?
No, we're serious.
No, I
we're
understand.
serious. Very serious.
I don't doubt Herb Street when it comes to
And I'll
cheerleader.
A guy in an old varsity letter sweater. He's out there and he's getting them all excited. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Don't you dare. Not yet. Now. Yay! They get up and they get excited.
AARP guy too. Wasn't he?
3rd down now. They send Tomlinson in motion. Will he be a decoy again, or will they try to go to him? They're looking for Tomlinson. No chance. It was well covered. They didn't fool anybody. Punting time. 42 seconds left. Lee, do you set up a return? Do you go after the kick?
I go after the punt. In fact, I try to block it. If I didn't get him, I try to rough it. What's the difference? I definitely, absolutely 100% would send everybody.
Let's give Brand Hanna out there and give him a 5th try. See what he can do here before the end of regulation.
Jeff Bauer's team is
nice.
I'm saying he's got a shot.
Jeff Bauer's team has played great defense. There's Hanna, the kicker.
He
who's
needs
missed
one
4
more
tonight.
chance and he can win this game.
Well, it's a freshman walk-on kicker now, John Brazil, with the temperature below 32. Barefoot kicker for his 6th try of the night.
Here they come. What I tell you.
Oh, they almost got there. They got a piece of it, actually, and they're going to get the ball in great field position. It's going to be marked down at the 42 of TCU. Are you kidding me?
I'll say one thing. Bowl game or not, this is the worst exhibition of special teams kicking I've ever seen in all my life.
Ettrick Pruitt made the play.
The worst? Everybody's nodding yes. It's the worst.
Brazil, it's not his fault. This man comes virtually clean, and Ettrick Pruitt gets a piece of the ball.
Southern Miss still has 2 timeouts, and they need to do anything they can to get his psyche up. He still has his head down, listening to the coach.
Well, is he going to warm up? No, they're warming up the other kicker. Curtis Jones, a junior from Greenwood, Mississippi, who hasn't kicked it all, but they need to get range for Jones. Final 33, the pressure's on Kelly, the quarterback, tries a long one. Incomplete. For Leroy Handy.
This has turned into a sensational ending, hasn't it?
Exciting. Curtis Jones will get one of those opportunities that you don't get very often. You haven't done anything all year. Come on out and get a chance for a game-winning field goal. Jones was so impactful this year. As you look at Tomlinson, the nation's leading rusher, this game might be decided by a man who didn't even make the postseason media guide. Curtis Jones. They have to get in field goal range, though. Kelly needs about 20. Almost to an interception. It was intended for Sean Mills. Greg Walls was right there.
I'll tell you what I would do right now. I would guarantee it. I'd block everybody on the team, and I'd send number 82, Leroy Handy down the field and let him jump up and catch it. That kid has made 2 tremendous plays for them in this ballgame, hasn't he, Chris?
He has, and you know, even throwing a curl route, because he has the speed to break a tackle, and he can pick up 20 or 30 yards.
Throw the ball to number 82, Leroy Handy.
Needing 10 for the first down. It's 3rd down. Kelly is flushed. He's going to try to run for it. He's still going. He's got the first down. At the 28, they have timeouts and will take one, although the clock should have stopped 2 seconds earlier. Timeout is called with 10 seconds left. It has Curtis Jones, a former junior college player, at Holmes Community College, feeling right now.
Jeff Kelly doesn't have blazing speed, but he has great intelligence, great savvy. Look at him sit back into this pocket right away. He feels the pressure. And once he steps up into the inside, now it's just a matter of trying to avoid not only the rush, but the oncoming traffic of the safeties and linebackers. And that carry right there maybe put him in field goal range.
Great 15-yarder for this young man who grew up going to games in Tuscaloosa, watching Alabama, playing the Crimson Tide this year, hyperextended his knee in the first quarter, stayed in the game, didn't miss a snap, and a guy who grew up a big fan of Jay Barker for the role model that the Alabama quarterback was on and off the field, had the biggest win of his career. An Alabama kid took Southern Miss into Tuscaloosa and beat the Crimson Tide.
Wasn't he the highest-ranked finance major in the state of Mississippi?
In the entire state, all college students in the state, 2nd-team academic All-American, 4.0 GPA.
Graduated in 3 years, and he grew up, you mentioned, in Alabama. In fact, only 30 minutes from here in Mobile, just north of town. So this is a big moment for him, and that was really a big play. They put 4 seconds back on the clock to give him now 14 seconds.
The key thing here is he has 1 timeout left, so he can throw the ball any place he wants.
I'll tell you what, with the way their kicking has been tonight, they need at least 10 more yards.
How do you know? Curtis Jones hasn't kicked all year.
I watched him warm up. 10 more yards.
5 receivers. Down the middle for the end zone. Touchdown! Kenneth Johnson! Incredible! freshman who was clocked with the nation's second-best indoor time in the 60 meters his final year of high school, may have given Gary Patterson an emotional loss in his first game.
Jeff Kelly mentioned us to the Alabama game, and beating Alabama here was the biggest thrill of his career so far. Well, this one might escalate that. Drops back. He sees Johnson beating the defender, knew exactly what to do with the ball, and watch this. Talk about elation. Talk about, remember, they lost 3 of their last 4 ball games. He stayed positive with that young offensive line. It's gratifying for that young man right there.
And how disheartening for Gary Patterson, who saw his team get in position. They had a lead, and he's the defensive coordinator. TCU hasn't lost leads over the last few years. And if this is the way LaDainian Tomlinson's great college career ends, 6th all-time leading rusher in the history of Division I, how frustrating not to have the ball in his hands with a chance at the end of the game. Just like in their loss to San Jose State, he never carried the ball on their final drive when they were down 27-24. That last drive, he touched it, but they couldn't do anything. 8 seconds left. Remember, they have the nation's top kickoff return man in with Terrence Dunbar, but I don't think he's going to see the ball. They pooch it short. And Dunbar was up short. Stanford cow time. They're throwing the ball over the field. It's a live lateral.
The Titans and the Bills.
Games, looking for a miracle. Out of bounds, and the game is over. And Southern Miss has won the 2000 GMAC Mobile, Alabama Bowl. Fabulous game in the second year of this bowl game. Jeff Bauer and Gary Patterson meet at midfield. Leroy Handy, the offensive MVP. Leo Barnes, the defensive MVP. The game MVP, LaDainian Tomlinson. Southern Miss's season will end 8-4. TCU 10-2. They are denied an 11-win season, which would have equaled their 3rd best. And the 26 seniors at TCU, who have built the program from 1-10 to 10 wins, go out with a loss in their final game, but will also carry away from their 4 years in Fort Worth the knowledge that they put a program back on the map. The game was decided from Jeff Kelly to Kenneth Johnson, Kelly's 3rd touchdown pass of the night, with 8 seconds left. For Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit, Dr. Jerry Punch, Mike Tirico, thanks for watching this presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, your home for college football on the internet. From our entire Thursday Night Football family, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Stay tuned for Darren Pang and John Butchergross. The NHL Tonight is next. Good night from Mobile, Alabama.